What is happening, you guys? And welcome to another episode of the Fins Tailgate. All hung up on my thing right there. I'm your host, El Capitan. And tonight on the tailgate party that never seems to stop, we had some coaches interviews, some things I found interesting. There's Thursday night football on still right now. Looks like the Ravens are finally putting something together. My friggin' fantasy football team's getting smoked right now because I got Mark Andrews. He just went down for, it seems like, the rest of the game. And Tom Brady is my starting quarterback, which I meant to put him on the bench. So I'm probably going to lose this week. Anyhow, trade deadline looming. Lots of trades have already happened. Lots of little rumors going around. We'll get into some of that good stuff. Also, guys, got some articles about the Dolphins, some potential trades. Nothing I'm hearing, to be honest. Nothing with any juice. None of the good sources have come through, or sauces, as everybody wants to say. It's really been quiet to me. If the Dolphins make any moves in the trade before the trade deadline, it's like us shipping someone away. Now, I could see us making a trade for a corner because we desperately need one, and I got a great article from I think it's the Finsiders. I don't know. I'll see. I'll shout them out before I read it, but get into all that, guys. Make sure you're hitting the like button, subscribing if you're new. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter, please come over here to YouTube. Subscribe here on YouTube. And also, guys, make sure you're checking out the content. Talk 7 TMI Tuesdays will be shifted to Thursdays, which is today, which is now me. We're waiting to get Tonk back on once some stuff settles down, but you guys can now catch Color on Tuesdays, doing the color commentary, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, all the good stuff. And then Saturdays, guys, you know, you guys can catch Late Night Exhale with Ali coming on Saturdays, killing it. It all depends if it's a home game or an away game. He usually starts around 10, but if it's a home game, he starts a little earlier because he goes to the game on Sunday. But, guys, you can count on me, El Capitan, to do it every night and day. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, usually around 10 o'clock, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later. And I'm coming at you on Thursday, apparently. Cash App, the Venmo, the Fins Tailgate. You guys can support the channel in that way. You can also support the channel through the link in the description for Fanatics. We are officially licensed official partners, Fanatics, guys. Get your gear. And also, you guys can pick up some of the TFTG gear. All kinds of good stuff. Hats, shirts. You guys already know. Check it out. All kinds of different things. Make sure to pick up a flag. Represent. And then also, Backroom Collections. Got you guys with the 10% off. And all you got to do is use hashtag TFTG at checkout, and you will get the 10% off. Also, guys, I don't know if you heard or not, but we have a game coming Sunday. Now, a lot of overreaction. In case you guys missed Overreaction Monday. I know I wasn't on yesterday, so my whole groove is thrown off right now. So I'm going to try to settle in. I'll be on tomorrow, and we'll get through this. But still some concerns about the offensive play calling these last few weeks. Rusty Tua instead of salty Tua. All these things. I mean, Chase Edmonds, bro. I don't want to see that guy. I've got a clip I'm going to show you guys of Chase Edmonds literally dropping every pass that everybody throws to him. He can't catch, apparently. I think it's Finn's Cuts that put it together. We'll shout them out on Twitter, but I'll show you guys that. It's crazy. It's just like, oh my goodness gracious, it's just terrible. But yeah, hit the like button, everybody. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Oh, guys, you can also support, as you know, through becoming a member. Shout out to all the members, all the moderators. Thanks for keeping the channel together. And then you guys can also super chat, as you know. What's happening, John? Michael K. Always coming in here. Love Guns. Salute, buddy. William. Scott. Bill, what's going on? Greer needs to get off his ass and smart trades solve problems. Yeah, hopefully. But, you know, we only have like 5 million, a little over 5 million in cap money. And look, there goes the Ravens scoring another touchdown. Will they fold in the fourth quarter? I don't know. Is Tom Brady going to have a Tom Brady game? Who the hell knows? I ain't seen it yet this year. He looks like he is behind every wide receiver he's thrown to. Nobody seems to be on the same page. Anyhow, Jamie, what's happening? John C. Dole, hey, Pamela, shout out to the member. What's up? You're streaming tonight's game in the group? Good deal. So, yeah, make sure to put like a link to your Facebook group in here, Pamela. So anybody that's trying to watch the game, you always stream it. What's happening, Dolphin Don? Did I hear about X? Yes, Zachary. I actually have that article, and I gotta say, the Sun Sentinel found the most terrible picture to post of Xavien Howard. It's just not a flattering picture that it's a bad picture, but to me it seems slightly off kilter. EM actually sent me the article, and I was like, geez, did they find the most hood picture ever to put of the guy that they have him? Because he's always so clean cut. He's such mild mannered, such a good dude. I'm going to read the article. It's some chick suing Xavien Howard about an STD thing. It is just, I don't know what it's about. I'm going to read it, but I can already tell it's kind of a hit job type of piece, and it's kind of surprises me coming from the Sun Sentinel, to be honest with you. But, yeah, I did. I'm going to get into that, Zachary. I did see that. Cruise Man Rum, what's happening? All right. Cruise Man Rum. Mark, what's happening? So, yeah, guys, everybody hit the like button. Get those likes up before we get rocking and rolling. We're also probably going to play some of the coaches' interviews, especially the Frank Smith one and the Applebaum one. Those are two that I'm definitely going to play because there were some interesting things said in those interviews that, you know, and look, guys, touching back to last week's game and then the last couple of weeks with the offense and the play calling, I don't just want to dog on the bad stuff. But I want to also, El Cap, I don't trust that story about X. So this chick's, yeah, you know what? We're going to get into it. Definitely. I don't know, Michael K. We don't know what STD they're talking about, but I'll get into it. It sounds like I've seen this type of media propaganda. And shout out to Christopher Cabin, man, new member. Shout out. Way to support the channel. I really appreciate it, bro. Thank you for becoming a member. We'll have to get you updated to the members list. That scrolls here at the bottom. Boom. There it is. Shout out to new member Christopher. But yeah, I've seen media hit jobs like this before. It's like political type crap. It's all different types of hit job pieces. We see this, coming live at 6 o'clock. Did this man poison his wife? It's literally just nonsense stuff. So I'm going to read into it. The girl that's suing is Minka Fitzpatrick's girlfriend. It's that whole thing? Is it that whole thing still, bro? That thing's still going on. We're gonna get into it. All right, it's a friggin' God. That's not what I want to talk about. I literally have like notes written down for the matchup between the Dolphins and Lions. I kind of want to shut the book on the Steelers, but there's because I didn't go yesterday. I didn't get to shut the book yesterday. See, there's I don't want to just dog on the things I didn't like seeing last week, but it's been kind of a reoccurring thing. And I keep hearing people talk about, oh, when the team gets healthier. And I'm going to go through the injury report. And yeah, a lot of guys are limited. But facts remain, when we went out Sunday, before we lost Brandon Jones, which looks like he's out for the year now. That sucks. Anyhow, we are thin in DB, bro. We are thin. I mean, I like guys. We're going to get all that. But that's about as healthy of a game we're gonna get on all sides of the ball. That's just the facts. So we gotta try better and stuff like that. But in the coaches' interviews, something that hasn't really the coaching staff's been really good to not make excuses, as we'll say. But I want to say it was Frank Smith kind of touched on it, and it's something that kind of reminded me of what Coach was saying. We've heard this about the team working the kinks out, and that they have expected as a coaching staff and as everything to have these types of kinks, and that really these coming weeks are when they expect the offensive line, the run game, the execution, the play calling, Tua in calling the plays and orchestrating things and that timing. Like, this is where they started really having expectations and even being realistic with injury and stuff, and not necessarily pushing the goalpost back. But, and I want to say it was both coaches kind of touched on this, because Applebaum was talking about the offensive line and Frank Smith was talking about the offense, and we'll watch both those interviews. But it kind of reminded me of what Mike McDaniel was saying about he wants to play his best football going into November. And I'm going to go through the matchup against the Lions, which is a team that's reeling, guys. Now, there's some good things about the Lions. There's bad things about the Lions. But, I mean, they're struggling for all the reasons that the numbers dictate, bro. They're, like, last in a lot of stuff, and we'll get into the matchup. The Dolphins can ever put together a full game. This defense looks lights out sometimes. The offense has looked lights out others earlier on. This team could ever put this together on all sides of the ball. We should be lights out all the time. You know what I'm saying? Should be lights out all the time. So we got tons of things to get into. I guess we'll just dive right in. Guys, hit the like button. Let's see. I got an article through the Sun Sentinel, and this will tee up what I'm going to go into in the matchup. Chris Perkins says 5 things to watch for the Dolphins game versus the Lions. And we'll tee this up real quick. So the Miami Dolphins travel to Detroit to play the Lions. Dolphins are 4-3. Detroit 1-5. We play them at 1:00 on Sunday in Ford Field. This is the week 8. This is the turning point. I know we're in a 17-game season now, but this is still halfway through the season. This is the end of the second quarter of the season. You should be hitting your stride, and hopefully something or the other is picking up. Damn, Mike Evans just made a nice play. Something or the other is picking up, whether it's the run game or the pass game. I don't know. The run game has been pretty decent. Just a little bit more better play calling. I don't know. Whatever's got to happen. Figure it out. This is when we should be seeing that ascend. Anyhow, here are some keys to watching the game. This is going to go into some of the points that I have, too. Dolphins are averaging 21 points per game, which is ranked 19th in the NFL. I think I have it different over here. God, I'm at 10th. All right, well, good. Scoring 21 points per game, which is 19th in the NFL. The Lions, they're allowing 32.1 points per game, which is dead last in the league. But the defense can't continue to be required to keep the team to less than 20 points. In the past 5 games, the Dolphins have averaged 17.7 points per game. If the Lions get to a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter, it'll be interesting to see whether the Dolphins offense can mount a comeback. We know that they're capable of it. Big play wide receivers Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but the Dolphins don't consistently score touchdowns. This is becoming a major issue. This has been my issue the last 4 weeks with this team. It's here's the deal. We talk a lot about meat on the bones around here. You're welcome, by the way. Team, plays being left on the field, meat on the bones. The fact of the matter is, the Dolphins aren't really leaving too much meat on the bones. In between the freaking numbers, they're actually eating their steak and potatoes more often than not. Problem is, they ain't scoring points. They're not having dessert. And dessert is the best part. It's your reward for eating your steak and potatoes. You get now, my wife just made the other day an apple pie stuffed cheesecake. And it's just not like a cheesecake. You don't bake it or nothing. You bake the pie part, the apple pie part, and then you do what's like a cold, slow rise in like the fridge with the cheesecake. It like cooks, doesn't cook. It's a cold thing to make it that way. It turns into this big, beautiful cake. It is amazing. Dolphins aren't getting their stuffed apple pie cheesecake, bro. We need more points around this parts. We got to score more with this offense. Tyreek Hill is number 1. Jalen Waddle number 4, 5. I know he's in the top 5, very minimum. We're getting the yards. We got to get the points. Jason Sanders been very inconsistent. We all know over 50 yards. He ain't Jason Moneyman Sanders. But I've seen no reason why anything under 50 he ain't crushing. He's made most of them. I think he's only made 2 out of the last 8 or 7 over 50, which is very ugly. But everything else under, he's hit every one of them. But yeah, the Dolphins offense needs to put more points on the board and have their apple pie stuffed cheesecake. So that's what they need to do. But either way, let's continue with this article. We know they're capable of big plays with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Dolphins don't consistently score touchdowns. It's become a major issue. The Lions have been without running back DeAndre Swift, who has had a shoulder injury. And they've also been without one of their best wide receivers in Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's been in the concussion protocol. So their offense hasn't been humming the way it was in the first 4 games when they were averaging 35 points per game. Either or both could return this week. Whatever the case is, this game begs for the Dolphins offense to score more points and put up big numbers and show that it is on its way to improve. The Dolphins can move the ball. They rank 10th in yards per game, and that's what I have here. Total offense. They rank 10th and 367 yards per game. They need to show that they can score touchdowns. It's kind of the point I was making. And I think we can. I think we know this team can. What the bloody hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like, I don't know. And, these guys are good with all this yak yardage and stuff like that. We need to figure out a way to get Hunter Long, Durham Smythe when he's healthy, and Mike Gesicki more involved once we're inside that red zone. Use these big, tall dudes, put them up a little higher, and get them. That's all. That's what we need. Not a slow developing route. Find the matchup, go in motion, make that matchup happen, and just freaking moss a dude every now and again. We don't have to use like motion and speed to create an angle and throw a little dart pass. That shit works, but like, let's just punch that damn thing in there, please. All right. Turnover margin. This is one of the most important numbers in football. Man, dude, this is all my notes right here. The Dolphins are -2, which is 21st in the league, which I've got right there. They were humming. They were -5 before last week's victory, 16-10 over the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they recorded a plus of 3 against the Steelers, so they had 3 turnovers, as you know. A big difference where defense produced 3 interceptions, and the offense didn't suffer any turnovers. It had 2 interceptions and a fumble 2 weeks ago. Yes, the Dolphins improved their penalty situation last Sunday, only to get whistled 5 times for 30 yards after amassing 105 yards in the previous 2 games. But turnovers are bigger measured for victory and discipline. We'll see if the Dolphins can stay on the positive side this week with outstanding defensive play and smart offensive play. The Detroit Lions are -6. I actually have that. The Detroit Lions have only committed 12 penalties this year on offense, and they're ranked 12th, and they've got 38. Dolphins are tied for 25th with 48 penalties. So, but we had in the previous 2 games a shit ton of penalties, bro. We were sloppy as hell in that Skylar Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater game. The team didn't do those quarterbacks any favors by not being penalized all over the place. Also, Terron Armstead went in there. Tua Tagovailoa has little room for error. Making decision remains a question. We saw Tagovailoa throw 3 or maybe 4 passes that could have been or should have been intercepted against by the Steelers, but we also saw him take on a linebacker head on a run. The slide a bit too early on the other run. Tagovailoa 101 of 150 with 1,296 passing yards and 9 touchdowns with 3 interceptions, who posts 105.9 pass rating, was coming off of a 2-week absence where he had to knock off some rust. For the most part, the rust should be gone for this game, and we should see similar yada yada. The margin for error for Tagovailoa has been reduced greatly with the injury to safety Brandon Jones. I don't know why. I don't understand how that's Tua's thing. Meaning the defense, might take a step back with this week for adjustments to get new personnel grouping. The second will enter without starting Byron Jones, Achilles, Nick Needham. We'll also see about cornerback Kader Kahu, who's really Kader Kahu, for everybody who doesn't know, I think he's ranked 10th in like a bunch of different places as far as rookie performances this year. And he's still ranked really high even after missing some time being injured. So he's been super effective even after all the drafted rookies in every position, So offenses must do better, and Tua Tagovailoa must be more consistent. Another key to the victory would be controlling Lions defensive end Adrian Hutchinson, which, man, I loved that guy coming out. I knew the Dolphins weren't going to pick him because we had no chance to get him, but damn, dude, if we were ever going to jump up to get anybody, it was that kid right there. Could you imagine having Adrian Hutchinson on the line with freaking Jalen Phillips and those kids growing up together, just the havoc they could wreak for Miami as a defensive front? It would be amazing. The rookie edge rusher has 4.5 sacks and shows amazing skills. I didn't doubt him at all. You have to think that left tackle Terron Armstead will be okay on one-on-one matchups. This actually going to be a great test for the young kid going against a savvy veteran like Terron Armstead, because he's got all the tools and everything, but the thing that makes Terron Armstead such a great tackle is he's never taking a wrong step, bro. He doesn't waste any time. Now, there is times where he'll kind of completely miss on something, but that's so rare. Like, he doesn't get beat it's insane. When he closes his distance and finds them and redirects them or pushes them out or sets an edge and turns his guy, his technique is so flawless. His hand placement to where he wants to put it down low or put it up high to redirect the guy to either open up a hole or get to a second level. He's so good. That's why this freaking O-line did so good. Like rookie edge rusher, da 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 da. But on the other side, he'll be going against Brandon Shell. That's the thing about Adrian Hutchinson. He can go to both sides. Problems could emerge. Granted, the Dolphins have a quick passing game that features Tagovailoa getting the ball out of his hands in about 2 seconds. That's partly because of Dolphins' offense and partly because defenses are playing deep safeties to take away the long ball, neutralizing Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle from just getting behind them, causing the Dolphins to take short passes. But it also cuts down the time rushers have to get to Tagovailoa. Hutchinson is a tough player to defend. He has brute strength, speed, and fitness, or finesse, whatever the hell you want to say. He's not capable of winning the game by himself, but he could cause problems. Another thing to have in key victory is the Dolphins' secondary, and this is something big. The injuries are tallying. It's amazing. We'll see if it continues. And from what we've seen already this season, there's no reason to think it miraculously. Wait a minute. It's already this season. There's reason to think it miraculously will. With already mentioned Byron Jones, Brandon Jones, and Nick Needham and starters lost to injury. Needham and Jones were out for the season. Brandon Jones is the team tackler. He had 49. He ties for sacks with 2. Head did great and run support. I don't need to go through the accolades of freaking Brandon Jones, dude. We all know what the guy did. He has the fastest recorded sack by safeties. I think he recorded that sack in just over 2 seconds on that blitz. He's only got 2, but one of them is the fastest sack by any safety per Next Gen Stats. He did it in like 2.14 seconds. He had that sack. He is going to be sorely, sorely missed. We are going to see probably a little bit more of Verone McKinley III, which he did play last week. I want to say he had like 20 snaps. I didn't notice him getting beat out there, but I didn't feel his impact. But good news is he's, he knows Javon Holland. There's not going to be a communication problem, hopefully, as far as them working off each other. And who knows? Maybe he does well. I know the kid's going to give it all he's got, and there's one thing we're lucky at around here. It's DBs and freaking corners and stuff like that working out, at least since Josh Boyer's been around these parts. But the Dolphins have continued to find answers in their secondary with such guys like Kader Kahu, Creon Crossan, Justin Bethel, who's been good, Clayton Fedulum, who showed out, Eric Rowe, who we can depend on because in a lot of ways Eric Rowe is good because he does so many things. Detroit's passing game and running game aren't fearsome, so we'll see if the secondary and defense can lead the way. Blah, 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 blah. With that, I'll roll right in. The Dolphins' offense, as far as a passing game, is ranked 3rd. So we're 3rd with 281.6 yards per game. The Lions is ranked 9th. They're getting 249.5 yards per game. And although their offense has been abysmal these last 2 weeks, I want to say Goff had, 2 interceptions and a fumble last week? And he had 2 interceptions and a fumble last week, and he threw for 250 yards. They might get Ahmad St. Brown back, but if they don't, they really don't have. They got a guy, Richardson, but he's okay. The rest of them, I don't even know who their wide receivers are, to be honest. So they're very thin at weaponry. They get DeAndre Swift back, which I'm hearing is a very highly likely possibility that they get DeAndre Swift back this week, and he's good. I mean, you guys know I wanted him so bad on this football team. We've seen him in the draft. But yeah, he's definitely something to deal with. So you'll have to watch him out the passing game if he's in there. The screen game, he's very good at that. Their O-line's good. It's just they got no weapons, inexperience. Jared Goff's their quarterback. I'm not that he's terrible, but I mean, it's Jared Goff, like he's not great either. He's got plenty of arm strength and he can make all the throws. But his decision making and just, I don't know, his processing sometimes, and because he's kind of, I don't know, it seems like he gets sacked. I don't know, whatever. Anyhow, he's not dynamic to say the least. But he can do some damage. But the thing about the rushing is, even if they get DeAndre Swift back, which they are good at rushing, and it's both their passing yard and rushing yard are pretty decent. They're 7th with 145.7 yards per game. It's funny because they do decent passing ranks, decent rushing ranks. Their total offense, they're 4th with 395.2 passing or total yards per game. The Dolphins, on the other hand, in rushing, we're only getting 85.4 yards per game. We're ranked 29th. And then total offense, though, because of how good our passing game is, we're ranked 10th, getting 367 yards per game, as you guys heard earlier. But they're not winning football games, and it's because of, penalties hurt them quite a bit. They're 25th in penalties. They got 125 penalties on the year. And turnover margin, they've been pretty bad with timely turnovers. They allow sacks. Even though their O-line's pretty decent, they don't have the weapons to get open. They've been getting beat. They've been leaning on the running game and doing a lot of screen game and stuff like that. Their defense really is where it hurts them the most. Their defense has played good these past 2 games, which is kind of odd. As far as penalties, the Dolphins are ranked 25th with 48 penalties. They're ranked 12th with 38. So they're not giving up too many. They're not giving as much as the Dolphins, but they've been costly penalties in their drives. It seems like it's always hitting them on 3rd down. They're not picking up first downs as good as Dolphins. Dolphins ranked 14th with 139 first downs. They rank 25th with 125. Their turnover margin, they're 30th with -7. We're tied for 21st with -2. They're allowing not that many sacks. Dolphins are tied for 16th, giving up 15 sacks. They're tied for 7th, giving up 12. So it's pretty comparable. Dolphins in scoring defense is ranked 23rd, allowing 23.6 points per game. But the Lions defense is dead last, allowing 32.3 points per game. Their Dolphins rush defense is giving up 255.1 yards per game, while they are giving up only 249.3, ranking 22nd. Or excuse me, that's their passing. Their rushing defense is ranked 31st. They're giving up 162.8 yards per game, while the Dolphins defense against the rush is ranked 7th with 103.3 yards per game. In total defense, Dolphins ranked 21st with an average of 358.4 yards per game, while the Lions defense is dead last, again, giving up 412.2 yards per game. They've only got 9 sacks on the year. We neutralize Hutchinson. We should do pretty decent. Their linebackers are okay as far as being multiple, but this defense is at the bottom. They're 32nd, 31st, 22nd, 31st, and 32nd in all major categories: sacks, total defense, rushing, passing, and scoring defense. They give up the points. Dolphins get a get-right game this week, and Tua and Mike McDaniel get the kinks worked out. We should be able to put up some nice numbers against this team. But I haven't seen good play calling, decent execution, the flow. The kinks just seem off on this football team. I don't know exactly what it is, but I do know it's something, because the last 4 games we've scored 15, 16, 17, and 16. That's terrible for this offense. Now the 3 games Tua was gone, okay, things kind of fell apart as far as quarterbacks go. we even start with Teddy, end up with Skylar, start with Skylar, end up with Teddy. I mean, this is a lot of excuses, and I don't like excuses, as you guys know, but context to say the least. But then when we get our quarterback back and now he's rusty and shit like that, fine. I'll even stomach all of the excuses or reasons. Why the bad play calling? Why do I see things that look so good and then them get away from it? Now, okay, you can say, yeah, well, those first drive was, that first drive last week, it was scripted. That's how the script was. Scriptedy script McScriptenstein. But okay, take what worked in the script and try to have plays that you already know you guys can run and run those types of plays. Do something. And I'm sorry, but up until last week, the first quarter hasn't really been our good quarter. It's been plays that have worked later in the game. We just haven't really seemed to have found our footing, our flow, our run game and pass game just moving. After week 1, going in through week 2, week 3, even, Tua had it humming pretty decent. And times in the fourth quarter when Teddy was in, he had it doing all right, but let's be real, it was kind of jump time. Teddy has just so molasses. I'm sorry, I don't want to see Teddy taking any more snaps. Skylar looked pretty decent as far as how he moved the ball and stuff like that, but the inexperience is there. We see that, but it wasn't ugly. But even then, the offense wasn't having their flow. The penalties, play calling, Mike McDaniel not having his flow either. It's just, I guess because we've seen Mike McDaniel along with the quarterbacks have struggled these past few weeks. And then last week we're thinking, okay, Mike McDaniel will be on point. And even if Tua's not on point, maybe Mike McDaniel will be. But that wasn't the case. It's just all over the place. Didn't look good. But against this football team, where their defense ranks, 31st in rushing, 22nd in passing, 32nd, dead last in scoring. Their total defense, they're giving up over 400 yards a game. They're dead last in that category, and they allow, sacks. Or excuse me, they don't get sacks. They've only got 9 on the year, while the Dolphins have 14. We should be able to take our 10th ranked total offense, our number 3 in passing, and be able to chew them up in some form or another. It's got to happen. We can do this. Get right game for McDaniel in the play calling. Get right game for Tua in the execution. Or are we going to pull our hair out and say, what's going on? What's going on with our coach? What's going on with this quarterback? This is a team. I don't want to say that I'm not going to be disappointed with a win, but let's be real, guys. That win last week was a sour win, and it can be a sweet one if they start getting some stuff right. It can be twice as sour if they string together another win on the seat of their ass not because it was a hard-fought game, not because there's a shootout, not because of any other reason other than the fact that they looked like crap at times. You know what I'm saying? On the offensive side. Defense has been lights out. Let's be real. Even with injuries and turmoil, guys like Clayton Fedulum are coming in and making plays, ladies and gentlemen. We can't ask much more than a defense than that. Clayton Fedulum's dropping back and tipping passes over the top of his head. Defense is doing their job. Thank you, defense. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real here, guys. Had 3 picks last week. Can't blame them. I didn't like that they weren't getting us some turnover plays in the weeks prior. But guess what? They were still holding teams, tough and strong all the way up until a couple of bad plays on short fields in the fourth quarter because the offense had some blunders, all kinds of reasons. I mean, let's just call a spade, guys. The defense hasn't been the problem the last 4 weeks. It's been the offense, and it's been scoring points. But I want to go ahead and play this Darren Bevel interview because he kind of touches on, he fields some questions and kind of touches a little bit on the struggles we've been seeing in this offense.
Frank, it seems like every week, Raheem Mostert just seems to kind of get more of a workload in the offense, and coming off the kind of significant knee injury last year, I think maybe that's a little bit of a surprise early on. Well, what did you see from him, and why is he just such a good fit for this running offense?
Sure. His history, obviously, in the system helps him really understand what we're trying to do, and I think it's also a testament to how he is as a worker and as a man. I mean, he really attacked his rehabilitation. He attacked trying to get better on his things that he was trying to improve on in his overall playing as a complete back. So I would say that, with Mike's history with him, and, I know Wes and John as well come from San Francisco, I wouldn't say we're really surprised with anything he's doing. We're more that this was the expectation that we kind of were expecting when we brought him here.
We've heard a lot about the various teaching methods, for like wide receivers getting off the route and whatnot. Is there any like specific teaching methods that you kind of instill with running backs when it comes to kind of reading and working with the offensive line and when they cut on the wide zone?
Yeah, oh, totally. I think that when you're building a system
What's up, mean man? That's
like we have in the running game, and you're really starting from scratch compared to what they were doing last year, there's going to be a constant evolution as you go, because you're just learning all the variables that occur, because no one defense is the same from one play to the next. So they're really, the runners are learning how they fit with the line. The line's learning how they fit with the runner, and how the running back blocks for the O-line with his track and his intent and his read. So I think that Raheem, coming from the system, understood some of those things, but it's a new line. And then the linemen are understanding what we're trying to do with fundamentals and techniques. So, like, I think we previewed it a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, when we're talking about the running game and how it's got to progress. It's like the only time you get
this is what I was talking about.
Real-time work on these things is in season, because in the preseason, all they got, it's its own element. So sometimes it doesn't start off looking naturally how you want it to look, and right around quarter two is really kind of where you start learning where you're at, and you start seeing the progression, the evolution to where you want to go.
Frank, I've got a Teron Armstead question. It seemed to me that,
So to the point that I was talking about, we're seeing an uptick from Raheem Mostert's production, and he's talking about how how they're fitting the run gaps and figuring it out here in the latter part of the second quarter of the season. He should have prefaced that. But my point is, why aren't you guys, like Frank Smith, you're the offensive coordinator, why aren't we calling those plays more often the whole game? Because you see that the run fits are working out. Why are we throwing passes to Chase Edmonds?
pass protection and run blocking were better last week. Is that true? And how much credit should Teron get for that, if that is true?
Yeah, he did. He takes all the credit. He's for who he is as a person, as a pro. I mean, we weren't surprised. I mean, I'm just fortunate enough to have the familiarity with him from when we drafted him in New Orleans, and he was about as easy as a free agent signing as you can get, because we knew the quality of the man was going to be just as high as the player. So as he's working through things that when you don't necessarily in pro football feel your best every week, I mean, he's just a consummate pro, and he's going to make sure on Sundays he's ready to perform. And, as he was working through his injuries, I think that you felt last week was more of where he wants to play, because he was able to have a week to really kind of get his body right.
And it seemed we didn't hear Alex Highsmith's name hardly at all, and he lined up across from Teron a lot. What can one man do for an offense? I mean, does he makes Eichenberg's job easier, Connor Williams' job easier? Like, what does Teron do for an offense?
Well, I think it really, it's not just Teron. I think it's the whole offense. I mean, because Tua was back as well. I mean, we were operating closer to where we were earlier in the season with the people that were out there. I think team protection is more than just one man. It's also the timing of the play, the quarterback understanding when the ball's going to come out, the running backs knowing that where they fit into it. I think everyone's at the right spot at the right time on their routes. I think ultimately it's not necessarily one guy, one man who plays at such a high level like he does helps, but there's more that goes into it because you could block the hell out of the guy, but if the quarterback's not getting the ball at the right time, the receivers aren't at the right depth. I think that impacts everything. And then when we're playing as a team, as a unit, that's where you just see the execution. So one man doing his job helps, but it requires all 11 to work on the same page in execution of the play.
Frank, when you referenced second quarter earlier in our conversation, you meant the second quarter of the schedule, right? Not
Yes.
a game. Right. So in terms of the progress of a developing offense and a newly installed scheme, what are some of the precise areas in which there should be more refinement that will allow there to be, not just the good numbers in the yards per play and yards per game, but points per game? What are
Okay, so I'm going to replay this question because Joe Shad smacks it out of the park, and this answer is the point I was trying to get to you guys when I was talking a little bit earlier about why in this matchup against this Lions team, why this Dolphins offense, according to Frank Smith here, and according to it's just a fact, bro. Fine, rust last week. Rust on the coach, too, for I can't remember how to call plays for Tua, apparently. This question and what Frank Smith says is why we got to just have high standards because teams we need to beat up on, we need to beat up on. We don't want a hot and cold football team. We don't want a team that, plays down to competition. We know what that's like, Dolphins fans. We know what it's like to have a team that plays down to the competition. It doesn't help. It leaves you in a vulnerable position against opponents you should beat up. And sometimes they squeak out a win, and that costs you playoff games. It forces the hand of ownerships and fans to say, blow this BI up. So,
of a developing offense and a newly installed scheme of the schedule, right? Not
Yes.
a game. Right. So in terms of the progress of a developing offense and a newly installed scheme, what are some of the precise areas in which there should be more refinement that will allow there to be, not just the good numbers in the yards per play and yards per game, but points per game? In other words, to take that next step, the next level for the offense to be operating on the cylinders it should be? What are a few key points?
Sure. I think that ultimately you see players playing with better fundamentals. You're seeing hopefully penalties decrease. You're seeing more consistency in our play production. You ultimately want to see us moving the ball efficiency, to your point, scoring points. Quarter two has always been the measure. However, that's when things are always they're operating with consistency with the unit. You're not dealing with massive injuries or, stuff that we've had to overcome. So it's like, does it change your timeline? Maybe a little bit. It just makes you a little bit more knowing that it's going to be maybe when you get the whole group together, you're probably looking more towards the end of this month. It's always kind of been the reference because that was something like always that I understood from, when in New Orleans with Sean Payton. We always talk about, right, quarter one, knowing that we got to win those 4-game block, all right, to come out of quarter one, all right, in a good position in division. And really in quarter two, you kind of really know who you are as a team because, as you acquire all the talent there and sometimes new coaches, new everything, it is until you get a quarter of the season done where you kind of really understand those things. But then that's what you like to see. You like to see more consistent production, more smooth operation. And I think that's what we'll hopefully start seeing here in the next couple of weeks.
Right. We heard from Mike that maybe some of the some timing on some of the routes wasn't exactly where it needs to be after Tua spent so much time away. I guess how are you feeling about that timing and that chemistry now that he's had a week and a half and a game of practice back under his belt?
Yeah, better. I think we felt it yesterday with some of the stuff we're doing, the communication that they're having between each play, or making sure that he understands where they need to be. They understand where he's looking in the timing of the play versus the coverages. I think that, when you come back from several games off and you're the quarterback, it's the hardest position to play because you can sense if something's off. So I think though, but it comes down to the measure of the man to get it corrected. And what the greatest thing about Tua is that he is so well prepared. He attacks each day. Like it probably is zero issue to us in our head because like yesterday we saw how he's communicating with the wide receivers and the runners to where they need to be, and then the tight ends as well with what he's expecting the timing of the play. So I think that hopefully we're going to improvement.
Follow up real quick. So is off for like the quarterback consent is off.
The players know, so they're the ones that normally talk to each other before we even get to operating on a high level. So, and then in turn, it's just, they're working through certain stuff because every week coverages are different. Defenses try and stop you different ways. And I think that the greatest gift is that we have players that own what we're doing, and they're the ones that take the lead on getting everything on the same page.
Frank, Chase is going through a rough patch.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Ball, you see him like fighting the ball a little bit, pressing a little bit, and regardless of the reason, how do you get him back on track?
Yeah, I think ultimately is like when you're a guy like Chase who has had production in this league, you're wanting that play, and sometimes you're straining a little bit more to be perfect as opposed to just playing your game, and your preparation and practice leads you to that production in the game. And I would say that we're not concerned. We're trying to help him with through all that stuff because we've seen it with him, and we just want to get him because all it's going to take is that one play, and like a guy like him, it's just you'll get back on rhythm. And I think that's ultimately the challenge for all of us, where you don't do something to the level of what you expect. Right now, you start one to, and it's really reality is that go back to the process, what it gets you on track, and then when you get the process right, the results will come. So I think that's kind of the core foundational piece to our program here, is that we're.
All right, we don't care about. I'm sorry, but Chase Edmonds, I don't know if he needs to have more processing or what. Eat more Wheaties, put some stickum on his hands. Don't throw him the ball, and we won't have the problem. I'm sorry. Wheel out Myles Gaskin. Give me some Myles Gaskin. I know he's going to catch it. Maybe he might not go anywhere after he catches the ball, but at least he's going to catch it. So if he's 2 yards, 4 yards, 7 yards, 20 yards downfield, you throw that guy the ball, he's going to catch it more often than not. I can't watch Chase Edmonds bounce a friggin' thing off, but with that, we're going to watch a video of Chase Edmonds bounce a bunch of things off. I got it right here. Fin Central. Thank you. Shout out to Fin Central putting together the lowlights of Chase Edmonds here. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Uh-oh, Vern. What happened? There we go. So here we can see, boom, right off the hands of Chase Edmonds. Boom, right off the hands of Chase Edmonds. That's 2 drop touchdowns right there. Let's see again. Here's Skylar Thompson throwing at Chase Edmonds. Boom, right off the hands of Chase Edmonds. Here goes Skylar Thompson again to throw to Chase Edmonds. Boom, right off the Chase Edmonds' hands again. I mean, bro, that was like, out of all of them, and I know it's a little low, but like he obviously doesn't, he looks upfield before he has the ball. Let's see, Tua, throwing the ball, Tua. Oh, wait, it hit him in the hands. Damn it. Tua, throwing the ball. Wait. Oh, right in his hands again. How many times is this ball going to hit this guy in his hands and him not catch it before they go? Hey, he needs to do more hands drills. Can't have it, bro. Can't have it. It sucks. But let's bring on the Applebaum. This is the other interview that I wanted to show you guys. I found interesting because he's talking about the O-line. And shout out to Brandon Shell. Guy has put it together a little bit. Interesting question. Does Austin Jackson have to worry about his job if Brandon Shell does an amazing job this week? If Brandon Shell comes out and puts up some, awesome pass blocking and they start using him in the scheme, like have him lead the way deep downfield on a screen and he's upending somebody, does Austin Jackson not go to right tackle? Do they take out Eichenberg and move him at left guard where he has had work before? Right next to Teron Armstead, putting him where El Capitan said he should have been in the get-go. I don't know. Mike McDaniel, are you listening? Let's hear Applebaum.
Tell me about Connor Williams' physical skill set and why it is translated well to the center position.
Sure. I mean, I think he's a very well-rounded player for the position. There's a lot of guys in the league that play that position that maybe have the lateral quickness that you need, or maybe they don't have the lateral quickness, but they have the size and like they play to their scheme, whatever scheme that maybe that team's playing. I think Connor has both. And that would be, the first thing physically. He's just a very well-rounded player. He doesn't have like any obvious deficiencies or anything like that. And then he's a really smart, articulate guy, and he works really hard at it. So he's able to handle all the mental part of it too. So I think he's a really well-rounded player for the position.
What did Teron do for the offensive line, and what did he do for the team last week?
I mean, Teron brings an impact to the offensive line every single day. I don't know if there'd be something specific other than his really good play. I mean, he's a leader out there. He gets his job done at a very high level. But I mean, I think he's a guy that day in and day out brings a lot to the table. So whether that be leadership, his approach, just everything. He's a very, very good player who knows how to handle the ups and downs of the season, and he's really good with the room and helping those guys along.
Mantis.
Brandon Shell, can you speak to how far he's come along since he first came in, and just how much more comfort did he show on the right side where he had played exclusively previously as opposed to when he played on left?
Yeah, I mean, B. Shell's been awesome. Guy is a professional in his approach. I thought he had good tape at Seattle. So we were fortunate to be able to get him when we did. Obviously, when he first got here, he needed to get in shape and do some of those things. And to his credit, he's done everything we've asked. He got in shape rather quickly. He's really smart and works at it. And
He's still a big chunky boy though. That Brandon Shell, he got some extra muscles on there a little bit, but he did good, man. He held his own.
Up our offense.
Against this week against Hutchinson, it'll be interesting if he ends up shutting that kid down, and he's pretty good. Not that he's still a rookie, but he's got some moves. And Shell shuts him down and gets out in some space with a nice freaking screen block or something like that and shows out. Why would you put Austin Jackson in? So what? So he can have a rusty game and cost me a football game? No way. Your spot got took. Sorry, homie.
Rather quickly. And then to your second question, certainly. I mean, the guy, sometimes people make it out to be way easier than it is to switch sides, especially for a guy who's played way more on one side than the other, hasn't been consistently switching sides over the course of his career. So
yeah, exactly.
Certainly was more comfortable playing right tackle than left tackle. But, I mean, to me,
True right.
for him to go out there and give us what he gave us at left tackle against New York Jets, I mean, that's super impressive to me. Not just the production, but the willingness, to go out there and land on the line at a position he's not comfortable at and give us a chance to win. So, I mean, I got nothing but good things to say about that guy.
Really, Aiden Hutchinson, high draft pick's gonna get a lot of attention. What do you see out of
Bro,
him
that ain't
as a
no
player?
lie.
young
I think he's a
player?
really good player.
Ass off at Tom.
Amongst
Tom
other
looks
really good
washed,
players.
bro.
I think Detroit
He
has a
looks
really good
terrible.
defense.
I see.
They're aggressive. They're physical. They try to get after you every single play. I'm really impressed with their tape and how hard they play, how physical they play. But no, he's a really good player. I think he's got a really bright future in the league. You can see for a young player that he's rather advanced in terms of how he plays the game, and it'll be a challenge for us.
Pat, can you speak to where Liam is at this stage in his second season?
Yeah, I mean,
Talk to us
again,
about
just
it.
like other times, I'm not going to comment too much on previous before we all got here. I think Liam is getting better every day. I think Liam had, honestly, one of his better games last game against what I would consider a really, really good player in Hayward.
Yeah, I didn't see
I know,
Hayward all game.
You know,
and
he had a
was
couple
somebody I
plays
was
that are going to
looking-
stand out as negatives, and that's the nature of our position. That those plays get focused on, and he understands that some of that stuff can't happen. But I mean, he comes to work every day. I think he's gotten better, and like I said, I thought he went out there and really competed against what I would consider an excellent player in this league.
Yeah, just some nonsense, guys. I mean, look, this is the halfway point in the season. The time for figuring things out gotta be over. Time for growth. Well, growth never stops. But problems in play calling, execution, coaching, game planning, kinks have to have. I mean, they've tried it so many ways. This is what's working. This is what isn't. We could sprinkle a little bit of this and that in there. We need better performance from this offense. We've paid good money. These fans pay good money to see them. We all sacrifice to watch. We love this team. 32nd ranked defense in the league. A team that's reeling on both sides of the ball in the Lions. I don't care that we're going to Detroit. They don't own that house. Nobody does. Dolphins finna own it when they leave there. So let's make sure to get that. Not that I won't take a win, but I don't want another win like last Sunday. I don't want to sit here and deal with it and talk about it and go into it. It's draining to me. It's why I missed Wednesday. It's so much easier to talk about a win. So much easier to show up for. That's a convincing win. See, you guys there's a difference here. And it's very apparent because a win isn't like a convincing win. You know what I'm saying? A team on primetime that we should have spanked, if we did spank, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, all social medias, they'd be popping. The memes, the videos, the creators, the people out here on platforms and just involving themselves. Everybody's happy that they won, but they're certainly not happy how it felt, how close it came, how ugly it looked at times. Not trying to be a spoiled brat over here about wins and losses, but I'm just telling you guys, it's the truth, and everybody knows it. But it can. I know Brady totally looks just freaking terrible, guys. He does not look good. He is not looking good. Damn, they held the shit out of Brady. Or that's Ottoman or whatever. I don't know. Anyhow, the Dolphins can fix it and get a lot right. Against a team that's ripe for the picking as far as an offense versus defense goes. This defense is still good. Everybody knows. So, it's freaking Jared Goff, bro. You guys remember the last time we saw Jared Goff on a great football team that I want to say won the damn Super Bowl, the following year? With a different quarterback, obviously, 2 years later. But, I mean, they were a Super Bowl-bound team those years. They've been a great team in L.A., so we tore his ass up with that zero blitz. We should be just rocking him up and down the freaking field. We should. So, for everybody, again, hit the like button, please. Subscribe if you're new. Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. Come over to YouTube. Subscribe over here on YouTube. Let's go into this Daniel Fouchier article, and it's going to kind of blend into the whole trade deadline stuff. And after I get through this, I'll drop the link. If you guys want to come up, we can chitter chatter, pitter patter about some stuff on the Dolphins, go into the matchup this week, what we expect, whatever. We can get into nonsense. I don't care. But all right, so making a case for the Dolphins and against the Dolphins making trade deadline or making any moves by the trade deadline. The NFL trade deadline is at 4 p.m. November 1st, and multiple high-profile players already swapped teams this offseason. Running back Christian McCaffrey has, as you guys know, went to the Niners. Another big team, Robert Quinn, for anyone who didn't hear, went to the Eagles. Also, a little birdie told me that the Eagles are seriously looking at Alvin Kamara, too. And the Eagles are obviously selling out to say, I'm going to win me a Super Bowl. And you go get players like Robert Quinn to bolster your defense, and you try to go get or end up maybe even getting Alvin Kamara. Holy cow, that freaking team, the rich get richer. The Dolphins at 4-3 view themselves as playoff contenders and have resources to make moves. Despite losing a first-round pick as punishment to their tampering scandal, Miami has a pick in every round in the 2023 draft, plus an additional third that they were dealt for wide receiver Devontae Parker, who was dealt to the New England Patriots. The Dolphins also have cap space of $5 million, according to NFL Players Associated public salary report, to absorb an incoming player's remaining salary. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel said he remains a infrequent communication with general manager Chris Greer about potential moves. He's going through all this stuff consistently and then keeping me abreast when there's real things enough or when he knows that it can possibly get real, so we need to start talking about a decision, Mike McDaniel said Monday. Here are 3 paths the Dolphins could take ahead of the trade deadline: acquiring a cornerback, an offensive lineman, and also trading a player away. Cases for and against all 3 of these decisions. Trading for a cornerback. The case of the absence of Byron Jones has shown how invaluable a 2 shutdown cornerback system are for the Dolphins defense. The season-ending Achilles injury to Nick Needham only further limited the flexibility in the secondary. Getting a starting corner caliber corner. Geez, that's a tongue twister. For example, Washington's William Jackson, who has expressed desire to be in a man-heavy scheme as opposed to a zone scheme, could allow coordinator Josh Boyer to have the freedom to call the zero blitz at a high rate and fluster quarterbacks. Man, dude, if we could get William Jackson, that would be the play. The Dolphins have multiple players that have stepped up in the wake of injuries. This is a reason not to get them. Guys like Noah Igbenogany, as of recent, also acquired free agent Justin Bethel, who showed out. Kader Kohu, who is, as I told you guys earlier, is like ranked 10th in all rookies. Keon Crossan are all expected to return in the lineup soon. Mike McDaniel hasn't ruled out the possibility of Jones returning at some point this season. Plus, getting an impact corner could cost more than the Dolphins are willing to give up. Trade for an offensive tackle. The case for the Dolphins. The Dolphins saw, however, their offense could fall apart with injuries in the offensive line. Right tackle Austin Jackson has missed 6 games with an ankle injury, and his timeline to return to the field is undetermined. Left tackle Terron Armstead has been playing through a toe injury that has forced him to miss 1 game and leave another after just 2 drives. An extra swing tackle could provide a contingency plan should Armstead be forced to fall out of the lineup again or other players begin to struggle. A case against, Brandon Shell has stepped up and played well in his last 2 games at right tackle. McDaniel has also said that he anticipates Jackson will return soon and contribute at some point this season. While Jackson only played 14 snaps in week 1 before his injury, he showed improvement in training camp, and the Dolphins need to see him on the field when healthy to evaluate his third-year progress. Third-year progress up to this point isn't undetermined. It's not good because he ain't even been out there. trade an underutilized pass catcher for depth for either picks or cap space. The case for tight end Mike Gesicki and wide receiver Cedric Wilson Jr. have had 2 limited roles in the Dolphins' new look offense. Both are on pace to set career low numbers for catches and yards in a season. The Dolphins have players who they either trust more in the offense, as Trent Sherfield, River Craycraft, Jerome Smythe, or are young and viewed as potential contributors in the future. Hunter Long, Eric Ikuzama. In the case of Gesicki, who is on a 1-year franchise tag, the Dolphins could recoup picks greater than the maximum of a third rounder they could receive if he left in free agency. For Wilson, who was signed 10 days before the team traded for Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins could get cap relief from the 3-year, $22 million deal. I don't know. Are the Cowboys willing to pick him back up? They could use another guy on their offense now that their quarterback's healthy. Maybe. The Dolphins have seen how injuries have shrunk the depth on different positions, and Greer has said you can never have too many good players. Smythe has been dealing with a hamstring injury, and Hunter Long has yet to make an impact that would envision when he was selected at third, or that one would envisioned when he was selected in the third round from his 2021 draft. Though Mike Gesicki's role has decreased, his 2-touchdown performance against the Vikings showed he can still have an impact in the game. Greer has also said the team still isn't actively shopping Gesicki, and while Wilson hasn't much of a role to play this season, he's still an accomplished slot wide receiver who can contribute in the passing game should injuries arise. This is a good article. So that will lead me into a great article where cornerback depth is a real problem, in case you guys didn't know. So I know, right, Cliff? How bad is Dieter? Dieter can't even sniff the field. Talking about potentially trading for people, and Dieter can't even get a look. Tom Brady threw 44 times for 325 passing yards and only 1 touchdown. God, he's killing me in fantasy, dude. He's terrible. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson threw 2 and rushed 1. God bless it. Anyhow, this article about, cornerback depth. And my number one, my 1A and 1B was O-line depth and cornerback depth heading into this season. And here we are with both of those problems still being in existence. I don't know how you make up the offensive line depth. You can go and get somebody, but those guys are never cheap one way or the other. Whether you're trading a first-round pick to get somebody, which maybe, but who? Who's giving away them for just 1 first-round pick usually? Maybe you can get somebody for a 4th or a 5th, but what are you getting for a 4th and a 5th offensive lineman? Better than Dieter? Probably, maybe, but how much? Not much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you either have an offensive lineman that's really good, or you got a guy that's kind of a placeholder, or maybe it's a dude that can develop. But either way, he's not. The margin between the two is so weird, especially when we're talking about trading. Now, corner's a little different. And I like the William Jackson, but that'll probably cost a first. But I found this article from the Finsider, and this is an amazing trade that the Dolphins should look at. And it kind of has some, good insight to things. The Dolphins should be looking at potentially trading for Stephon Gilmore. Miami should have him on their radar. The Dolphins had 3 healthy cornerbacks going into Sunday's game against Pittsburgh. Safety Brandon Jones went down in the game, and now he joins Nick Needham and Trill Williams, who are all on IR. Noah Igbenogany and Kader Kahu has stepped up, but the secondary is the foundation of Miami's defense, so General Manager Chris Grier may try to trade for some depth ahead of the November 1st trade deadline. The Indianapolis Colts have benched Matt Ryan, and the decision to start Sam Ehlinger indicates that the team may not see itself lasting in this playoff race through November. This is why trading for Stephon Gilmore could make sense for the Dolphins. Gilmore signed a 2-year deal with the Colts this offseason with a cap hit of $7,750,000 this year. Additionally, Gilmore has a cap hit of $12 million next year, but the team could move off of him with only accruing $2 million in dead cap. Gilmore began his career in Buffalo after spending 4 years in New England. He shined on the Patriots. He got first-team AP honors in 2018 and 19. And he was also named Defensive Player of the Year with 6 interceptions and 20 passes defended. Defensive coordinator Josh Boyer, who was New England's cornerback coach in 2018, runs a similar defense that Gilmore had such success with the Patriots. With a $6 million cap space to work with, the Dolphins should see if the Colts are willing to move on from Gilmore. Miami forfeited their 20 with 2 third-rounders. With 2 third-round picks to work with, the Dolphins could be able to trade for him and have it. Yeah, maybe they'd be interested in trying to build for the future. Take one of those third-rounders, maybe a little something on the side, relieve themselves some cap space, a little bit of sharpening of the pen. Maybe the Dolphins can figure out a way to put Stephon Gilmore on this team. That is one of the savvy moves that I could see the Dolphins making with Chris Grier trying to make something like that. I would like that move for sure. As you guys also heard, I'm sure you guys heard, Kadarius Toney is Audi 5000. And another guy who's out there on the trading block, and you can get him for probably dirt cheap. Probably can get him for like a 7th-round pick. With all this problems we're having with Chase Edmonds and the apparent lack of faith that they have in Sylvan Ahmed or Myles Gaskin coming in, I wonder if they'd be interested in Vikings running back Alexander Madison. He's been drawing trade interest from people. He's on the trading block. The Vikings are willing to move off of him because Cook is there, cooking. But I like Alexander Madison. He's got good hands. He's got soft hands. He can be a serviceable running back. Another player that people are speculating that's around, which I know the Dolphins aren't interested in, Brandon Cooks. That would be insane if they let Brandon Cooks go. They just freaking signed him, though. Can't believe that. Everybody knows about Kareem Hunt, though. There's been talk about Kareem Hunt coming to the Dolphins forever. That they want him and we want him and da-da-da-da. And I don't see the Browns moving off of him. I just don't. I can't imagine the Browns trying to move off him. I think they want him there for when who comes back. The Jerry Jeudy thing, guys, isn't going to happen. I know Dolphins fans would love for Jerry Jeudy, and I don't see any reason why I wouldn't love it. But it'll cost a first, and are the Dolphins in any position to take a first-round draft pick and give it to a wide receiver when they already have 2 really good wide receivers on the football team and paid another in Cedric Wilson? Now, okay, you tell me that, hey, they're going to give them both thirds and their second, per se, for Jerry Jeudy plus Cedric Wilson. I would say, fuck yeah, do it. Why not? There you go. Just figured out a trade for you. But that's not happening. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. That's why I said Cedric Wilson, too. You got to get rid of one. Got to get rid of one. Other people being talked about on the trade. I already told you guys about Alvin Kamara. That's nuts. Who else was out there? Oh, the Jaguars defensive end Josh Allen is potentially being shopped around, but they're going to want more. They're going to want more than a second. The Packers are reaching out to all kinds of teams about wide receivers. This is what I'm saying. Like, if the Dolphins are gonna trade, they're gonna be getting rid of a pass catcher. It's either gonna be Mike Gesicki or one of these wide receivers. And the team I see making that trade is got to be the Packers and or the friggin' Eagles. I don't know who we'd give the Eagles, and I don't know who the Eagles would want because I don't think they're looking for wide receivers. Maybe they'd want Mike Gesicki. The only reason I say the Eagles is because this is what the Eagles do. They're ready to spend. They've got picks. Let them cook. You know what I'm saying? That's their own business. Another player that is on the outs with their football team that the Dolphins could probably trade for nothing, and I'm not certain if they'd be interested in him, but Cam Akers and the Rams have kind of hit a point where Cam Akers is probably either going to be let go at the end of the year or traded. So, and Cam Akers has been spotty at best. So, if you guys didn't hear, Jamar Chase, there's conflicting reports going on right now with his hip injury. They're saying 4 to 6 weeks. Some people are saying it, could require surgery or they might elect to. That's a pretty big hit for that team. No love lost, honestly. I mean, I don't really care, but let's go ahead and go through the injury report for Thursday. So we'll start with the Lions. Lions have safety Deshaun Elliott, didn't practice. Charles Harris, who's ex-Miami Dolphins Charles Harris, that's right. Pass rusher / defensive end specialist, first-round draft pick out of Missouri. Charles Harris is on the Lions, for all you guys who didn't know. He didn't practice today with a groin injury. Cornerback Mike Hughes and cornerback Chase Lucas, one with a knee, one with an ankle, both didn't practice today. Safety, I can't even read his name. Ifitu Melifinu sat out with an ankle. Their tackle, Matt Nelson, he sat out with a calf injury. Taylor Deckert is limited with a neck injury. TJ Hawkinson, who's been questionable all week, he was limited today. Guard Jonah Jackson with a neck injury is limited. Center Frank Ragnow is limited with a foot injury. Wide receiver Josh Reynolds, Amon St. Brown, both were limited in practice today. Amon St. Brown has that concussion. He's probably going to play Amon St. Brown. And CB Will Harris, hip, he practiced full. And here, DeAndre Swift, he had full practice yesterday and today. DeAndre Swift's playing, you guys. That's it. I'm telling you, Amon St. Brown and DeAndre Swift is both playing. And Josh Reynolds, their other wide receiver, he was limited, but he'll play too. Their offense is going to be getting a little healthier for this game. We're going to need to be sound on defense, but more importantly, we need to just score points on offense. Now, meanwhile, damn near the whole Dolphins team's limited. No lie. Liam Eichenberg, he had full. Melvin Ingram didn't practice because he's on rest. So did Teron Armstead, did practice limitedly. Tunga Valoa, he had full practice with his left hand. He has a little bit of thing going on the left hand, but every one of these players is on a limited basis. Jerome Baker, hip. Tanner Connor, knee. Keon Crossan, knee. Clayton Fedulum, groin. Xavien Howard, groin. Robert Hunt, hip. Kader Kohu, oblique. Greg Little, Achilles. Raheem Moser, knee. Emmanuel Ogba, back. Zach Sealer, hand and ankle. Durham Smythe, hamstring. Skylar Thompson, right thumb. Jalen Waddle, shoulder. Christian Wilkins, hand. All of those guys practiced in a limited basis on Thursday. So the whole damn team is banged up because it's the middle of the season. This is where the calluses either start to form or you finna be injured. So they shouldn't call this Dolphins an injury report. They should say a hurt report, because injured means you can't play. Hurt means you're like limited. All these guys are limited. Dolphins are going to be probably pretty healthy for this football game. And I hope to see Durham Smythe back. Emmanuel Ogba, I haven't heard good things. Or I've actually heard some bad things. I heard that back is something they're watching very closely. And as you guys know, backs are super tricky. As I literally have like a whole hip back thing going on right now. They hurt. So hopefully that gets worked out. But yeah, that's kind of what I finna be all in. I know, right? The whole damn team seems to be hemmed up. I'm going to drop the link if you guys are wanting to get in. In the meantime, I'm going to pull up another coach interview if you guys want to hop up. Let's see. All right. What's
up, Captain?
What's up, Color? What are you doing?
Nothing. I gotta get to bed. I just came up to give you a little. I got an early day tomorrow. I gotta bring mom over to get a test done.
You got to bring her where?
Go get a test done.
Oh yeah, how's
what happened the other day?
Yeah, with her neck.
Yeah, but it's got it. She wants to do it really early because it's like where she goes gets aligned really quick. But
I'm fixing to get the same thing. My lower back. Somebody got the El Capitan voodoo doll and stuck me right in my back.
Oh well, look, man. Hope his devices get connected. Look, he's coming up, man.
I see that, bro.
Wow.
I see that. I'm gonna bring Paul up here. What's going on,
That'll
Paul?
be interesting.
What up, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
What's up, Paul? How you doing, man?
Oh,
That's the same Paul I've been chatting with in chat.
Yeah, that's Trucker Paul, right? It's Trucker Paul, right?
Yeah, just so I know if we're on the same subject.
Yeah. I've been off for like 3-4 weeks, so I've been at home catching y'all like every day.
Oh, word up, Paul.
Yeah,
that's good, man.
Trying to transfer to get my own MC number.
Oh, word.
Yeah, trying to level up.
Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome, man. Fucking keep us informed. Let us know if that works out. That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah.
What's up, Jordan?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, because I know, Chris, you look at the rules and stuff more than me, some other stuff. What can Miami do if their doctor says healthy, they get independent doctors, okay, they're not biased, they say you're healthy, well, why should they have to pay him?
I think because he got that surgery, they're on the hook for minimally the whatchamacallit, the god dang it, the injury settlement for the year. Like there's like a clause for like the surgery. Like the Dolphins are on the hook, bro. Dolphins are on the hook. Byron Jones, as a businessman, played this beautifully.
Well,
it hurts us.
This guys like Jones, Will Fuller, the guys they just turn me off from pro sports. These guys that do this.
It sucks, man, but it's part of the game, and in a game that's so physical, you know, it's it's different in other games. Like, okay, in baseball, I don't know. Everybody gets injured, man. It just is how it is.
Well, it's less violent in baseball. I mean, football is a violent sport. So is hockey.
And let's be honest, they have so much depth in baseball, and even at the minor leagues, everybody's still already at 30% with everything they do, which is what you got to be a baseball player. But
and
real quick,
basketball's figured it out a little bit, but look at the rosters. They're so top heavy, and there's so much load management, and just the way it's played in series and how
and take for instance like the St. Louis Cardinals. If they get a couple guys injured, they bring a couple guys up from Memphis that are already ready to go for the majors. You know what I mean? Because it's such a like I said, if you're 30% in everything you do on a baseball field, defense and offense, then you're a good player. You know what I mean? So, but real quick, Michael K is asking about, because it's showing his device is not connected. Michael K, if you're listening, I would think that what's probably going on is StreamYard is not seeing your hardware because you still have YouTube open. So you want to somehow copy the link or open it up and then go close YouTube so that StreamYard can see your devices. That would be my guess as to what's going on. But go ahead, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'll redrop the link. Maybe it's giving you some hard time.
I'm just here to talk about that other cornerback. The
Which
cornerback
one?
that's over here talking about giving incurable STDs. Are
Oh,
we
yeah.
about to be out another starting cornerback?
I'll pull that article up here just directly,
Let me
but I
tell
want
you,
to.
this
I want
is
to. I want to
gonna
address
get
something.
bad from here.
But Pete, it's such an iffy ground when it
Oh.
comes to all the dynamics involved with this one that I don't think it takes him off the field for a good while. You know what I mean? If it
Color,
does.
I think it can take this. It can end this guy's career, dude. You're
What's
talking
what
about
are you
messing.
on about?
You're not talking about asking for stuff like Deshaun Watson. You're talking about knowing you have an incurable disease in you, and you're giving it out to women. Are you
Pete.
aware? Hold on. Are you aware that attorney that's covering that women right now already came out and said he would be shocked if there's only
Allegedly.
one girl? He
Allegedly.
would.
Well,
He
let's
said
be very
he will be
careful about
shocked
this.
if there's only one
Allegedly,
girl.
and another thing, Pete, you got to remember, we got to state here that if you're saying he allegedly knew he was giving it out, but that may not be the case, and that's the part that the whoever has to prove.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll pull up the
allegedly,
article here
allegedly.
momentarily.
But did you see?
well, it is a
Hold on,
civil
hold on,
case.
color.
Hold on.
Article.
It
There's
is a
an
civil case.
article that states
Well,
that
Pete,
he
real quick,
says he
Pete,
apologized, so he knows
it is
he
a
had
civil case. It is a civil case, so it will be based on the preponderance of evidence.
Yeah, but the evidence that this girl's bringing upon him, color, is already stating text messages of him apologizing.
One other
knowing.
thing, Michael K. Make sure that your phone is allowing the program to use your microphone and
Yeah, you
whatnot.
gotta
also.
hit allow when you open
Pete,
up.
she's only asking for 30,000, so it can't be that bad of a STD. That's not no. You don't understand. It's not she no. It doesn't work like that, buddy. It does not work like that. Okay? Let me tell you something. They have to put a number on a case. Let's get that. They have to put a number. But once the client starts talking about longevity of life, which is true, she's gonna have to live with this forever. You think this client is gonna be? Would you be okay settling for 30,000, knowing you got STDs now from a girl?
No, who knows? It hasn't been proven, Pete. Pete hasn't been proven.
Well, this girl has information that was put out on that article that states he
I don't care,
apologized.
Pete. You're starting to act like a cop. Keep an open mind, Pete. You're starting to act like a cop. Keep an open mind.
Bro, I'm stating the facts of the article that's brought up onto us.
Hey, you're crossing Jordan, Pete.
I'm gonna read the article.
Sometimes, color, you gotta understand. I'm talking to Dolphin fans, so this will rub them the wrong way. If I was talking to a Jet guy, he'll understand. He'll take it cordial. But if a Dolphin fan, come on, you know it hurts him.
There's a lot of false allegations made against people. I'm a victim of that too.
Yeah, but you're saying false allegations, and I'm telling you in the article that Capitan is probably going to read to us right now.
I don't care.
It's going to show
anyone can write anything, Pete.
Why are you apologizing to a woman? Why are you
Prove it.
apologizing to a woman in a
but
text message?
we're right that you're relaying the information of an article. Just if you preface what you're saying with allegedly, then you're being more fair. You see what I'm saying? That's all we're saying.
That's all I'm saying too.
But if he's apologizing for something on a text message, you think I should feel sorry for X?
Well, maybe if he did even have it, maybe he didn't know, and maybe
he was
he's a
just
victim.
saying, "I'm
maybe
sorry
he's
you
a
got
victim.
that. Don't mean it was from me." You know?
Yeah,
Right?
maybe
maybe
she
he's
gave
a
it to
victim.
him. Maybe she
Right,
gave it
right.
to him.
Possibly.
So here, I'll read the article right now. Let me pull it up. Okay, so article
Xavien Howard
Miami
is
Howard,
a dirty bag. Go ahead.
Miami Herald. It's titled "The Damage Is Done." Dolphins Xavien Howard sued for giving woman STD lawsuit, says. Devon Cute and Daniel Foussier write this article. Miami Dolphins cornerback Xavien Howard is facing a hefty lawsuit after a woman came forward alleging he knowingly gave her genital herpes, an incurable sexually transmitted disease. So it's herpes that he gave.
That's what Brian Flores gave the Dolphins organization.
What about his peas?
Nah, don't try to make it a joke. Let's be. What did he give her?
Herpes, it says.
Never will go away.
Never,
blisters, goaching out of
Aren't
your
harpies
body.
aren't harpies like little winged creatures that like follow you around?
That's harpies.
You got stuff
harpies.
leaking out of you that never used to leak. You understand?
All right. The woman filed the lawsuit anonymously Thursday in Broward County Circuit Court and is seeking damage in excess of $30,000. That's a weird. Anyhow, she also is demanding this suit be heard in front of a jury, according to the court documents. Howard, second-round pick with the Dolphins in 2016, is one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL. Gosh, they have to write that, don't they? Put the NFL's name on it. His 27 career interceptions since entering the league are the most by any NFL player in that span. The pair met. Hold on, they're gonna give a little bit of a something here. The pair met in early 2018 at a Quest Dynasty's laboratory where Howard asked her out on a date. Wow, they got like where they met. Quest Diagnostics
So was he
Laboratory.
there getting a piss test to find out if he had it?
Yeah.
Quest Diagnostics
They met at a
Laboratories.
piss
Like,
test.
yeah, I mean, were they both at a place where you go ahead and get that shit checked out? That's what it sounds like.
Either that or Flores sent him up the river for a PED test.
Let me look up Quest Dynasties or Quest Diagnostics.
Yeah, that's where you go and take a drug test.
That's a big
lab.
company,
That's
a
a
screen
lab,
drugging
like
company.
LabCorp.
Yep, that's a really big company.
Man, look at all these free
This
clothes
guy's
we're giving
in
out,
trouble,
man.
and he's about to get more women come out on him. Man, these women are about to go after Xavien's contract, and you guys know it. You guys know it. He's probably done playing.
You're right about that, Pete. If like more women come out saying that he knowingly gave him STDs, it could snowball into a big issue.
Oh yeah, if there's
Or
more women
even-
that come out, it
or
could
how about-
definitely be a shit show.
What do you think? What do you think all the women that he messed with are doing now? They're scared for their lives driving to
scared
the
for their
medical
life?
lab. What do you mean? You think you're gonna live happy
Well, it
with
is
herpes for the rest
treatable.
of your
It's not
life?
like- it's not like,
Or they're opportunists and they're giving themselves
Not in-
herpes and
we're
calling
not
a
in the
lawyer
mid-
and
not in
hoping
the
it's the same strain, maybe,
It's
Pete.
incurable. That's probably the
Yeah, but
Who
scariest
gives a
sound
fuck?
you could
People
ever
want
hear.
money.
Won't die of it anymore.
People want
bro.
money. People
Shut
live
up with
HIV,
that, Jordan. I
Pete,
don't want to hear
like
people want
50
money.
years.
Are you hearing this crap? People want money.
No,
This isn't
you're
a
not
massage
listening to me.
therapist. This is different from Deshaun Watson. The only thing that's similar is the parade of women that could come afterwards. But we're talking here about a sickness that can be cured, Jordan.
I'm reading this thing about what Quest Dynasties is, and it's really an integral part in responding to coronavirus, resources, patient safety measures, mask policies, la la la. It seems like it's a coronavirus testing place. At least that's where
Well, they do all
healthcare.
testing, and I'm sure when the pandemic hit, they probably focused a lot on
Oh,
that.
yeah,
That's
they-
a diagnostic.
What are they
Yeah,
gonna
but
do?
it
Go
was-
out
it
to the
was-
streets, catch herpes, and blame it on X?
Yeah, but look, it was 2019, so it was
They think they can
before
get enough
Corona.
money, perhaps.
2018. It was in
Nobody said they
2018
had to
when they met.
purposely go get it, but they may have acquired it and said, you know
So it
what,
was
here's the
before
richest
COVID.
guy I slept with. You know what I
Quest
mean?
Dynasties empowers people to take action, improve health outcome, derivative from the world's largest database of clinical lab results. Our diagnostics insights reveal new avenues to treat. Oh, where's he? It cuts me
Well,
off
look,
right
if
there.
if he consents, and waives his HIPAA rights and submits a sample of his virus, then they can literally match the DNA and tell if it came from him or vice
I
versa.
mean,
If it's the same virus,
well,
like
what
right
they
at
can
the DNA.
do, because he was at Quest Diagnostics, is that he could literally see what his blood results were there. Did he know then? And if she's there, does she work there and knew that he had it and set this whole thing up?
It's tough.
Or
That's the place that they would literally go if they were sent for a marijuana test.
Didn't that article just state that he knowingly knew he had it and he
well,
apologized
that's what we're gonna read.
for it?
That's what
He
this lady's
apologized for that in a
accusing. That's what. Okay, well, we're gonna find out. The pair met in 2018 at Quest Diagnostics Laboratory, which is odd. I want to know the details of this Quest Diagnostics Laboratory.
I'm pretty sure it was a standard piss test for.
Got that, but why was she there? Does she work there? Was she getting?
Yeah, that's what I think they're insinuating. Like she was working there and she's hot, so he probably hit on her. You know what I mean?
In 2019, Howard learned he had contracted genital herpes, but did not tell the woman. So in 2019, Howard contracted it, according to the lawsuit. Instead, he proceeded to stand by his assertion that he had been tested several times without contracting any STDs. So wait a second. He protested to stand by that he had been tested several times and without contracting it. With knowledge of his incurable sexually transmitted disease without
So in
disclosure.
2019, Capitan, they told him he has the herpes, an incurable disease. And you're telling me he kept going back to get checked on something that's incurable for the rest of his life? Where does this make sense at?
Here's what it says again. According to this
guy has more excuses
Howard
than
learned
Uncle Sam.
in 2019, Howard learned he had contracted genital herpes, but did not tell the woman, according to the suit. Instead, he proceeded to stand by his assertion that he had been tested several times without contracting STDs. I don't understand. That doesn't even make sense. He's been tested a bunch of times and didn't contract STDs. You don't contract STDs from getting tests. You contract it from everybody knows. So let's continue.
So in 2019, he took a test and he contracted it and he knowingly
no, that's not. It literally says, according to the suit, in 2019, Howard learned according to the woman in the suit. That's what she's saying, that he found out in 2019, and that when she told him about it or mentioned it to him, he said that, listen, I've been tested and I don't have it. So then she says, without knowledge of his incurable sexually transmitted disease and without disclosure, defendant Howard continued to engage in an unprotected sex with the plaintiff without informing her of the same, the lawsuit read. After being tested in 2021, she found out she had tested positive for the lifelong disease and knew Howard was the only person who could have transmitted the genital herpes to her, the lawsuit alleges. Howard initially denied having herpes when she confronted him about the results, but eventually admitted to knowing he had it and apologized for passing the disease to her. Man, I've been told you,
scumbag.
I've been told you I was sorry for giving it to you, he told her, according to the lawsuit. But what can I do now? The damage is done. You keep bringing it up as if it's going to change something, like your ass can't move on. These are quoted in the lawsuit, so we'll see.
From Xavien Howard's words. Right or wrong?
This is quoted in the lawsuit.
Scum. This guy didn't rub her up knowing he had an incurable disease.
It's quoted
How
in
would
the,
you feel,
in the
bro?
lawsuit. Okay, so hold
How
on.
would
Let's
you
continue.
feel, dude? This is like someone having full-blown AIDS, bro, and knowingly giving it to you.
I don't know.
used
I mean, I don't
No,
know.
no,
It's level.
no. That's exactly the same stuff.
I used to
This
date a
is
girl
one
whose
low
friend.
I'm pretty
had
sure
this.
if you
This
took
guy
the
needs
poll,
to be cut
pretty
from
sure
the
if you took
team.
the poll, herpes or HIV, I'm not sure her HIV would win, bro.
If he knowingly knew it like that and told that girl to move on like that, he's a scum. And he needs to be released from the team immediately.
Damn.
I don't know if they're gonna release him from the team immediately, but man, dude, this is a like he's had some stuff before, domestic stuff. That's not good.
This is real dolphin shit right here. We just middle
That
of the
ain't
season.
100.
We got people getting herpes out.
Fucking Paul.
It's herpes gate.
This is the sickest stuff I ever heard.
Only dolphins.
Only the Dolphins.
Only the fucking Dolphins got fucking a herpes gate.
We go from Bully Gate to Blow Gate to Adam Gate to freaking what are we at now? Herpes Gate. That's
we're
where
at-
we're at now.
We're at fuck. Dude, I thought it was gonna be something.
Yacht Gate.
I thought it was gonna be something stupid like.
That
I don't mean to. Oh, God, dude. All right, so here, let me continue. Following her diagnostics, the woman said Howard made her feel that she had no choice but to have sex with him because she could spread the disease to someone else. The lawsuit read, whoa. Scared, confused.
Now that's even deadlier, Cap. Is he gonna try to force a cult herpes following type cult deal where he's scaring these women from having? So hold on. He could sit here and try to convince a chick that she can't have sex with nobody else because she got herpes, but he's out here dancing around, spreading it around like cotton candy at a festival?
It's gonna make me throw up.
This guy is dangerous to human society. It should be a crime.
Actually, I'm pretty sure if you're knowingly giving around sexually transmitted disease, I know HIV, if you do it, it is a crime. I don't know about herpes, but I would imagine you're liable in some facet if you don't disclose it. And it's funny because I was going to say earlier, I used to date this girl and her friend slept with this guy. She was a skank, but she slept with this guy and he gave it to her and didn't tell her, and she was like 19 or something. Her parents ended up suing him. I think they won. I don't know how they won or what, but
Man,
like
we pissed off Aquavision enough for him to finally come up, man.
Aqua, what is going on, buddy? Go ahead, Aqua.
I just want to know if I was the one that triggered Aqua to jump up on this
You
panel.
probably did, bro. You probably did.
I just want to know.
Anytime you're ready, Aqua, if you can get through.
Yeah, we're not showing you muted.
So I'll continue with the article. Pop in whenever you can. Scared, confused, and never wanting to do what the defendant Howard did to her to somebody else, plaintiff did continue to engage in sexual intercourse with the defendant, the lawsuit reveals. So because she was scared and confused and didn't want to do what the defendant did to her, she was scared of him and confused by him and didn't want to give it to somebody else. She conceded and continued to sleep with him, is what they're saying. Edward Pullinger, LLC, the attorney's office.
Is that his wife? Is that his wife? Is he talking about? So he almost admit. So he cheated on his wife.
I don't think they got married.
Is he raw dogging his wife and gave her herpes too for the rest of her life?
I mean,
I would consider a divorce.
You wouldn't take herpes from your wife, Pete?
I wouldn't. Hopefully, have to deal with that. God,
big dog.
Jordan, he went from cop to full blown federal prosecutor, dude.
He is married, and sadly enough, I know where his wife's ice cream fucking place is at too in Broward.
And this is bigger than She has it. Stay away. And this is bigger. This is bigger than big. And like this girl can sit here and say on the lawsuit she hasn't danced around with any other guy. But if Xavien Howard was tapping that, I'm pretty sure she looks pretty good. Other men have it and contracted it as well out in the original general public.
Well, that's
No,
what they're saying.
She's saying that she's only had sex with.
Yeah,
Xavien
she's
That's
saying
what
Howard.
she's
not-
saying because everybody wants to be clean here. Okay?
but
that she's a dog liar on that point.
So you're
let me
telling
not
me
get
she
started
did go
on her.
sleep-
I might feel bad because she got it contracted by Xavien Howard. I might feel bad
So
on that
now
part.
this girl's
but
a
she ain't gonna
skank,
make
too.
me feel bad like she's hiding it. Come
So
on now.
she's a-
If
so-
she's
so
out
now
there
she's
messing
a
with
skank?
Xavien Howard, of course she's a skank. She knew Xavien Howard was married.
Pete,
You're
you're
gonna
very
tell me she didn't know?
judgmental on a lot
Wait
of
a minute.
people.
Wait a minute. Pete's onto something. If she knew he was
You're
married,
gonna tell me? Come on now. So now she's a clean girl. She's supposed to be so clean, huh? She ain't gonna dance around with no other guy, but yes, she'll play with a married guy. Come on, man.
That's
I
some
don't fall
dirty
for these
shit.
traps, but
Yep.
it's still some dirty crap. But what's worrisome now, Xavien Howard, you're in big trouble, buddy. 2-5 should be released. This girl's dancing around with guys out there.
I seen somebody on Facebook put
Bro,
underneath
there's way
this
too much
article.
determined before that gets to that point.
I seen somebody on Facebook underneath this article put a meme and it goes, "X gonna give it to you." X gonna give it to you. What? I'll give it to you. They're gonna play that DMX song. That's terrible.
Help is on the way.
Yep. I mean, bro, this is not good. So let me get this right. She's a saint. Please, she was banging a married, well, man, I think he said on the way down. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know
that's
what?
what I was saying, right?
That's, yeah.
I mean, I'll give it to her too. Don't try to act like you. Ever since he gave it to me, I ain't do nothing with nobody. No, she just want to sound clean and nice. I'm pretty sure
tailgate. What
Yep.
happened? I don't know, man.
Oh, Pete did that.
Did Pete do that?
Michael K is trying hard. There's something must be going on with your phone permissions, Michael, because it's just telling us device is not connected. So check the settings in StreamYard. Make sure you've chosen your phone's main microphone and all that.
Could be.
What if we lose
connectivity.
Xavien Howard and Byron Jones comes back?
But then there's also like deeper phone security settings that your phone might not be allowing your use of those. You might have to go deeper into your phone settings.
Speaking of which, what's up, Aqua?
I might start a tutorial channel. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to do all that.
Aquavision, this is a surprise to me about Xavien Howard. I didn't expect on a Thursday to be reading an article in which paints him in such an ugly light. Are you able to get through, Aqua?
Aqua, this ain't the chat, buddy. You gotta open up your mouth. I don't know if he knows how to use his mouth. He's always typing.
You know what, Pete?
What?
We almost had two people trying to get up that have never really come up before. Maybe Aqua has before. I can't remember, but rarely come up, right? Both of them are trying to get in. One's got connection problems. One's got vocal problems that's already in.
Or microphone
Could Michael
problems.
K be Aqua's burner account?
Yeah, because Michael K and Aqua are trying.
Oh, they got caught. You got caught?
Oh, I don't think
You
so.
got caught.
I don't think so.
Color has
they're-
a bright mind for those type of things. I know what I'm telling you.
Their texting patterns don't overlap at all, Color. We can discuss that at a later time. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yo, and just for the record, everybody, Carla Williams is not Reason's burner account.
No, it's not. Just for the record,
We have
Carla.
confirmed it.
Carla is the real
is
deal. Holyfield.
ABAB is Reason's
No.
burner account.
Maybe. Honestly,
maybe.
We've wondered that.
Right, bitches?
I haven't
I'm
seen
telling you,
ABAB in a long time.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, ABAB is somebody's burner account. That is not an individual. It's
Yeah.
somebody in the community with a channel.
Man,
they
I
have
just,
a YouTube channel.
I just finally got things squared away with AB. Now y'all gonna piss him off, and he's gonna start coming at me again.
I just offered that guy $200 on Cash App to jump on the panel.
I
Who wouldn't jump on?
No,
Yeah.
they're ignorant. That's ignorant.
I haven't seen ABAB in a long time.
He
What's
was
up,
just on
Aqua?
Batman.
hold
He
on.
was just on Batman show.
Aqua, I can hear you.
I don't hear.
Now we're showing mute, but we heard you for a second.
Is this the real Aquavision or is somebody trolling Aquavision's
That
thing?
could be. You never
That
know.
could be it. This could be Michael K.
But I mean, Aqua did come in the chat and then kind of immediately come up on the panel, so it's probably
That's true.
real
That's
Aqua.
true. It's so. Look, Joseph's like, I'll jump on for $200. Look it up right now. Hang around, Joseph, and become a mysterious thing, and go and.
Pete, no Ring of Honor for X.
It probably is. It probably is, Nightwolf. It could be TD. It could be I'm telling y'all, that's exactly how I feel. It's probably DDW. I'm not leaving nobody's name. It's probably Big O.
No,
That's
the only
probably
thing,
the Big O show.
The only
It
thing
might
that,
be
the only
Big O.
That's
thing
who
that
ABAB is.
Wait,
It's
the
one of
only
these-
thing that absolves TD is that AB has said some very, very personal things to me that TD would never dream of saying.
No,
to
actually, you know what? I think TD has been live and ABAB has been bashing him, so I know it's not TD. Matter of
Michael, do you have Twitter by chance, Michael K? Because I can send it to you through a message on
Yeah,
Twitter.
and that way you can shut down YouTube altogether and click on it through Twitter.
Yep.
Because
I
it might
mean-
be YouTube just stealing your audio stuff, right? If you still have YouTube opened up.
I don't know how to send it via text, or else
Well,
I
it's
would.
hard to copy and the link out of the YouTube app chat. So you have to like fire it up, go to the URL on the page that comes up, copy it, close that down, close YouTube down, and then reopen your Google browser and go and paste that link into your URL. That's really how I do it whenever I just come into YouTube. If I don't
Color.
have it through Twitter.
Color, we need Patrick Surtain even more after today's news.
I know, man.
real.
Oh, where's
You know,
Lewis
I'm a
at?
little weary about Patrick Surtain the second because man, that could end up becoming like a what do you call it? Like a like despotism, you know what I mean? And like all of a sudden he's not performing and his daddy's on the team, you know.
Nah. Look, I think on Batman's show earlier, I think Lewis brought up this trade proposal. He said, would you guys trade our first round draft pick this year?
Nepotism is the word I was looking for, not despotism. Sorry.
Lewis brought up a trade proposal on Jalen Waddle, our first round draft pick this year, a second round draft pick this year for Jerry Jeudy and Patrick Surtain.
But let's just drop the receivers. What would you do for Patrick Surtain?
You guys don't want to get rid of Jalen Waddle at all. That's
Well,
the best
Pete, I
guy
already
to
put
trade
it out
right
in
now.
chat. Hey, Pete, I put it out in chat and nobody was really killing me over it.
Yeah, Color was
Oh, yeah.
saying something similar.
I honestly think the best trade proposal right now would honestly be getting Aaron Rodgers and his right tackle, or Aaron Rodgers in a package deal and send out Waddle, something. Just get Aaron Rodgers. He is disgruntled in Green Bay, and he can literally be our starting quarterback for 2 to 3 more years.
Big Nick,
Teaching
I haven't
Skyler.
seen. I usually don't see Big Nick until like during the days. Mr. Polk's been known to take sabbaticals before, so
Yeah,
I
haven't
expect
seen
Mr. Polk back
myself in a while.
But then again, I'm not doing any nighttime stuff.
Where's Big Nick? Big Nick ain't got
Big
no
Nick, I
loud
got a
crap to
little
talk
info on
about.
Big- I
That's
got a
what it
little
is.
info on- hold
Two
on, I
has
got a
been
little-
out. Let me tell y'all notice y'all missing a lot of guys, right? You know why
let me
y'all
answer-
missed them? Because Two has been out 3 weeks.
Well,
They'll
let me
be
answer
back
real
now that
quick,
Two is
though.
back.
Big Nick, I do have a little info on. He just posted a new video yesterday. So he is active on his channel. He's not, there's nothing wrong with him, medically or anything like that. Mr. Polk, I have not seen anywhere on anybody's chat in a good while now.
Shout out to Mr. Paul. I hope all of them are well and good. But check this
Yeah,
out. A lot
I
of
mean,
guys
that
been
don't mean they're not
missing since
listening.
Two
So
has been missing.
if either of the two are listening, wish you well and hope to see you back anytime. Welcome. You're always welcome.
How it is.
Let's do a thing since trade deadline's coming up. Everybody do one trade that they would do for in the next week.
Well, realistically, I like the one to edge it out barely, because we could probably give some mid-round stuff away and pick and afford the cap, is that Stephon Gilmore, because he would fix a lot of stuff. He knows this defense a lot. He's a corner we can use in press or zone.
And he's not in the division anymore, is he? He's with somebody else, ain't he now?
He's
Panthers.
He's with the Colts.
Panthers,
He's
that's
with the
what I was
Colts.
thinking.
No, he's with the Colts.
Or Colts, yeah.
The Colts gave him. He's due 6.6. I'm sure there's a way we could figure out how to afford that.
And they're
even though
throwing
we
in the
only have
towel,
5.
supposing their rookie doesn't have some kind of spark.
That's probably a 5th round pick.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I think
that's a
we
good
can even
one,
give
Cal.
him we have 2/3. So even
Now
we can
that's
even do
getting
that.
too much.
a player that actually
No, we can
has
just give him
no
1/3 is what I'm saying. Give him the Patriots third. How freaking great would that be too? We give him the Patriots third for one of the ex-Patriot players. That would be awesome.
I think if we're willing to give him a third, they would do it for sure. Because
Listen.
he's so old.
I don't think you guys really want to go to the Super Bowl, man.
Damn, Pete.
Dancing around the
What you
problem.
talking about?
Cliff, the problem is that they're asking for two harpies, and
Look,
one.
check this out. Check
And not
this
a
out.
hemorrhoid.
Check this out. If McGenius is a genius, why doesn't he just already hang around and be with a genius quarterback? Stop dancing around it, two and ears. Get rid of that 2020 first-round draft class, Austin Jackson, Noah Igbenogany, Tua, package all 3, send them to Green Bay, and give me Aaron Rodgers. Get Aaron Rodgers here with this
You know,
unit.
I had thought about including Tua in that Denver trade because they're going to need a quarterback
Get
too.
Tua out of here.
Like,
Stop feeling
I
bad.
don't know,
What are you
man.
talking
This
about?
team
Pete,
needs
we're
to
trying to win the
win.
Super Bowl.
Pete,
Whoa.
do you
We
think
gotta realize
Pete?
we're trying to win the Super
You got to
Bowl.
realize there's still enough. If Tua, you know, if all this just ain't have been a fluke the past couple of weeks and he gets back on track, then man, it is so beneficial if we're able to get this guy to pan out, man. It's unreal.
I mean, bro, not to mention when you pay a quarterback, it's just proven that it's
Now,
unless your
look.
name's Tom Brady or Drew Brees or Peyton Manning, nobody's won making $20+ million a year as a quarterback at Super Bowl. It's for whatever reason. We'll see if Patrick Mahomes can do it because he's gonna make big money for the rest of his life. We'll see if, I don't know, somebody else makes it happen like Russell Wilson or something like that. But as far as consistently, no one's been able to do it.
Bro,
You really
we
gotta
trade-
win. You
we
really
get
gotta win
Rodgers.
this year or next year, bro.
If
That's
we
really
get
awesome.
Rodgers right now,
Hey,
first of all, Capitan, we have
Pete,
no
I just
defense.
thought of something.
The Lions are about to put up 30 points on us.
Hey, I just
we
thought of
have-
something, Pete.
What
I
happened,
think
Cutter?
so,
Go ahead.
Pete.
We could get a haul from Denver for Tua, right? And use that haul to get Lamar Jackson, right?
Why would we get a haul from Denver for Tua
Because
when
listen,
they got Russell
because
Wilson
listen to me,
problems?
Listen to me. They're a mile above sea level, bro. 8 to 9 games per year, Tua's arm is going to be just fine in that stadium.
Now he needs.
I'm being purely scientific, bro.
Listen.
Right.
Listen.
Tua
Tua would be great.
Let
in Denver.
Tua go to Green
No,
Bay.
I'm dead serious.
Let Tua
would
go
be
to
great in
Green
Denver.
Bay and freeze out of this league. Simple and plain. They'll
Freeze
start
out of the
Jordan
league.
Love. They'll start Jordan Love in Green Bay. They'll have a little bit more capital to build upon that.
Why you all think?
And they'll
why
move
you all
forward.
think Kyler Murray's little ass throws them bombs? You think his arm
in a
is really
dome.
that strong? No, he's in Arizona half the year.
He's
He
in
was
a dome.
terrible tonight.
I think Tua at minimum is worth 2 first-round picks. At minimum.
Who said that? That guy should be
Paul.
banned out of this
Not
panel.
only does Kyler
He
Murray
should be banned off this
listen,
panel.
guys,
Pete, what are you
Kyler
talking about? You
Murray
wanted
plays-
Drew Lock.
Kyler
You
Murray
wanna do
plays
Lock,
8
Pete.
to
What are
9
you talking
games in
about?
Arizona every year and plays 2 games in Los Angeles, 2 games in San Francisco, and 2 games where's their third place?
Seattle.
Seattle. Okay, so Seattle's damp. Okay, fine. So you're talking about 2, 4, up to 8, up to 9. So you're talking sometimes 13 games in environments that have virtually no moisture in the air. That's why Kyler Murray looks the way he does and looks good. He's a fraud, man. I'm telling y'all.
I was messing.
You love Kyler Murray.
Did that guy
agree,
leave?
Kyler, I agree.
Oh no, I didn't want that guy to leave.
Tua's better than Kyler Murray for sure.
He sure is.
As soon as
Tua's 4-0.
Murray
We're
lost
0-3
D-Hop,
without
it
Tua.
was crap, man.
That's right.
4-0 with
That's
Tua.
right, Pete.
0-3 without him.
That's right. We've only played 7
That's
games.
simple mathematics.
Simple and
That's right.
plain.
Yep. And we're gonna
Tua
win
doesn't
this
have
week.
any herpes. Tua don't got herpes.
And yep, Tua's herpes free.
Hey, and you know what? You know what else is mathematics?
Not anymore.
Hey,
X is a cheater.
you know what else is
X is a cheater.
mathematics?
If Tua's wife likes Tua, you gonna tell me she don't like X? You out of your mind.
Wow. Pete, that's brutal.
Let me stop.
Pete, you know what else?
Too far.
You know what else is mathematics?
What's that?
I don't answer, Capitan, because you already know the answer to this question, I'm sure.
He put his stuff on
Probably
me
does
quick.
too, but we'll see. Okay, there's a coach in this league that's currently coaching actively, who has been coaching for 5.5 seasons and is 42-46 in the regular season. Do either of you two know who that coach is?
No.
Man, I know who that coach is, but do you know what that coach's record is in the fourth quarter, down by 4 points, entering the fourth quarter?
I have no idea.
Lay it on him.
But
Lay
the
it on him,
46
Pete.
losses have to come from somewhere.
I'm just saying, he has 46 losses, Color.
42-46 in 5.5 seasons.
And guess what?
Oh, wait a second. We got Michael.
Guess what?
Wow.
Hold on,
Michael
real quick,
J.
before Michael goes. You can have the floor for 10 hours. Before we answer you that coach is 1-45 in the last
Wow.
46
So
games.
45 of those 46 losses came because
In the fourth quarter.
of blowing the fourth
being
quarter.
down by 4 or less
Wow.
points in the fourth quarter.
For those in the
Kyle
back of
Shanahan.
the room, Pete's got the answer, I'm sure.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yes. For those in the back of the room, that coach is Kyle Shanahan.
I wasn't even thinking
true.
about him.
Jay Zan got it. What's up, Michael? See, you finally figured out how to work it.
Dude, I was mashing buttons like you wouldn't believe.
So, are you going to come up here and just destroy? Are you going to agree with everything Pete says, or what's up?
You know what? I haven't
He's
really
gonna
haven't
destroy
been
you,
listening
Capitan.
because- I haven't been listening because I was trying to figure it out. But I do, you know what? I do have to appreciate you guys only for the fact that you're good sports.
Oh, yeah, it's part of the biz, dog. It's part of the
Mike,
biz. People don't get
I
it.
learned that-
Don't take it so serious. It's
I
for
learned
fun.
that in the greater St. Louis region. The Missourians have a real gift for self-deprecation.
You know what? You know,
You're no
I
problem,
never,
buddy.
you know what? I don't hate any fan base, but I do appreciate the fact that you guys are good sports about it.
Well, I
Without a
appreciate that.
doubt. But now, up
Is
here
that
in Buffalo,
you
What's
do
that?
you know who you're including me in this?
I'm including everybody, man. You're all good sports. And there is nobody, and I mean nobody, in NFL or hockey that knows what a real sport is and what sports are about. Like we got this thing going on with Tre'Davious Wright right now. He was on the PUP list for 4 weeks. They take him off. He has 21 days to be activated. If he's not activated in 21 days, he goes back on IR for the rest of the season. All these cats in Buffalo are saying, well, they're going to activate him for one. That's not how it works. You don't activate him for 1 day to get another 4 weeks. You activate him for the rest of the year or you lose that roster spot. Correct or not?
100%. They have to be activated, and then,
So you're
they
saying that-
stay on that.
You're saying that things ain't so green on the other side.
Wait.
No, what he's saying is you can put him,
and you can then transfer him into the practice squad. Why can't
but then
you?
someone can snipe him once they're on. It's unprotected at that point.
Exactly.
Oh.
El Crappy Tam is 100% correct in this one.
I love,
That's right.
I love it. I love
That's
how
right.
you even address him verbally that way. That's so freaking awesome.
No,
I
you know
can
what?
own it.
I appreciate you guys, man, because you know what? You guys are passionate and everything. A lot of what you say is accurate. Now you get a Bills fan base. Now we sucked for 20 something years after the 91 to 93
You
season.
still suck. You still suck.
Yeah, we might still suck, but we got the best
Wait.
quarterback in the
Michael
league.
K, you're a Bills fan?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
he's a diehard Bills fan.
No, I'm not. No, I'm more Lions. Well, believe it or not, I live in Buffalo, but I've always been a Lions fan.
Oh my fuck, Mike!
You're
You're
a
a fucking Lions fan,
Oh,
Give me
now
your
we got
prediction
now
for
we
Sunday,
understand
Mike.
the
Oh
Give me your
my f-
prediction for Sunday.
bro. Listen, I
Sunday?
see why you're this way. Then that's every. You know what, Lions fans? I appreciate Lions fans like a mofo because those people have a great sense of humor. You know why? Because they've sucked forever, bro. Forever. They get if you're willing to be a Lions fan, but then you attach yourself to Buffalo too. Wow, bro,
Well,
you really you're like a fucking masochist.
I've lived in Buffalo since 1970. I was born in Buffalo, but my uncle was he grew up in Detroit.
Well, you know, it's
What,
kinda
I'll tell you right
interesting
now,
that both of
the
those
best
cities
running back of all time, the best running back of all time, they got the shittiest end of the stick is
Barry Sanders. That
Well,
ain't no
those two-
fucking lie.
Barry
I ain't never
Barry
seen
Sanders
anyone
is the
lose
Dan
like that.
Marino.
Those two
Barry
cities
Sanders
just
is
so
our
happen to
Dan
be
Marino.
the two biggest entry points to Canada.
Hey, you know what?
No, I'm right on the piece. I haven't been allowed in Canada since the great stripper fucking revolt of '95.
Michael K, did you love? So you're a Lions fan and you love Barry Sanders. You probably
You've
would have
been to
became
Montreal.
became a Dolphin fan if they would have let him become a Dolphin and play with Marino that one year.
He would have never went, man. I'll tell you what, Barry Sanders was so diehard Detroit because Detroit did everything they possibly could to put a good team around him, and they just couldn't do it.
Yeah, they were terrible.
So I know a Dolphin
everything
fan
was
has to
terrible.
know this. What was the cutoff point between the Dolphins and Sanders? There was something that cock blocked it. I used to know this. Something happened between the Dolphins and
Yeah.
Barry
Oh,
Sanders.
I remember what it was. It was
And it
Barry
kinda
Sanders.
led-
He
and
didn't
it
want to
kinda
go.
led- And it kind of led. No, Dan Marino was lied to. This is what I'm saying. We were supposed to have Barry Sanders, and then that's what forced Dan Marino kind of to retire because he didn't get.
Barry Sanders was there for 9 years.
What happened?
Barry Sanders just couldn't do it. He's the only
Yeah.
Hall of Fame player. I
Barry
think.
Sanders retired, I think, because the Lions wouldn't trade him.
No,
Stop
Barry
thinking
Sanders
that guy was a
retired
Lion
because
homer like you
they
think, bro.
wanted to trade
I'm telling
him.
you, there's
That's
a
what it
story out
was.
there about it.
No, Pete, you have your facts backwards. They were gonna trade him. That's what it was. He retired because they were gonna trade him.
I may be wrong, but I think Barry Sanders is the only Hall of Fame player never to play in a playoff game.
Oh man, and dude,
No,
have you ever
he went
seen
to the
somebody
playoffs.
so talented? Have you ever seen somebody just shed people like that? The guy was the greatest, bro.
He was amazing. When he ran over Brian Bosworth.
Yeah, he ended Brian Bosworth's career. He punked him so hard you never saw the guy again.
Yeah, and it was amazing. But growing up so yeah, I am a Buffalo fan, and I appreciated the Marino and Kelly years. Marino. Let's face it, Marino was only sacked by Bruce Smith 9.5 times.
That ain't no lie. Marino in those days had twinkle toes before he got the Achilles injury. He could just frickin' dance around back there. It was amazing how he could. He was the Ben Roethlisberger before Ben Roethlisberger. It was like he would shift his hips and his shoulders would just shed guys, and he would twinkle toe crawl above them and just sling it with that quick release. If they got to him, that's what he would do. More often than not, he would quick release in like a phone booth, and you couldn't even get to him.
And what's amazing is like Marino goes to the University of Pittsburgh and plays because they picked him over Kelly. Kelly, they're both from the Pittsburgh area. I think it's Cranberry County or whatever. Pittsburgh picks Marino to play for him, so Kelly has to go to the University of Miami. Piss Kelly off fucking to no end. And I'm like, you got to be fucking. Kelly was probably the toughest quarterback in that era, and even tougher than Elway. Elway. Not as tough as the what the hell is it? Viking and Attic Barbara. But these are all. I'm going to tell you right now, Allen is a good quarterback. Allen is not the best quarterback in the league. Mahomes.
Who would you?
So much.
Yeah, Mahomes is a freak.
Being from Buffalo, I watch Mahomes, and you know what? There was a thing on, I don't know, Good Morning Football or The new chick, the chick that was on Good Morning Football. What the hell's her name? Kay
Adams.
Yeah, up in Adams. The dude said, and he did put it right. Allen can do anything Mahomes can do. Mahomes can't do anything Allen can do. The problem is Mahomes has proved himself as an elite quarterback in the NFL.
Mahomes just last game, the last victory they had, rolled out to his left, his non-throwing hand, contorted his body, and slung it underneath like this and zipped it into a friggin' window. It was amazing. Aquavision, what's going on?
Yo, what up, fellas?
What's going on, Aqua? Man, what a night.
You know
Yeah,
who that was, Capitan?
What?
That is Aaron Rodgers personified, rolling to the left and making it just a dead-on fucking.
Yeah, but even Aaron Rodgers wouldn't throw it like that. You know what I'm saying? Even Aaron Rodgers makes the ball do magical things. Mahomes throws the ball magical ways. So, what's going on, Aqua? How you been, buddy?
Good, man. Good. Just listening to the show, man. First time on.
That's awesome, Aqua. I'm glad you came up, buddy.
Come on, man. Welcome up, bro.
Yeah. What's up, Color, Pete? What's going on?
Hey,
Mike
is this
King?
Aqua?
Same old.
It's gonna put a sound to that chat. Now I know what that voice sounds like.
Yeah, now we can hear him.
I know yours, Pete.
Wait,
I
is
bet
this
you
Aqua
do.
that was just accused of being?
Yeah, we were like, well, it's funny because you and Aqua were both trying to get in and having some troubles. We're like, maybe they're the same person trying to get on in the same account. We were making a joke out of it because it would have been crazy to see Michael K doing what Michael K doesn't hear, but it's Aqua, whereas, his fins up and nice Aqua in the chat. It would have been hilarious if you guys were 2 and 1.
Hey, to coin
Aqua ain't always nice to me, but go ahead.
to coin a phrase from one of the greatest movies of all time, The Hangover, I'm a Buffalo retard.
Retard. How are you? Listen, so Michael, real quick before I want to hear from Aqua on some stuff. How do you? Okay, you're born or not born? You were born a Buffalo fan, but a Lions fan by choice. Do you follow Lions still?
No. Yeah, I still follow the Lions. I was born in Buffalo, born and raised.
Yeah, became a Lions fan because you're your uncle, and then you still so you have like a dual team type of thing. It's kind of like how my family is with Kansas City. My grandfather and my dad and like his family are from Kansas City type area, and like my grandpa was a sheriff in Kansas City, Missouri. So like I always kind of root for KC a little bit. I was happy to see him win the Super Bowl. I wish it was my Dolphins though. So is it that way with you? Like if the Bills win a Super Bowl, will you be in as much jubilation as a Lions fan? You know what I'm saying? Or one or the other? Which is the one if they win?
I got to root for Buffalo through and through. But
okay, I
because,
got you.
Because my uncle lived in Michigan. He lived in let me think of the name of the town now. It's just outside of Detroit.
Bill Sutton.
So I mean, it was like where I live in a town called Kenmore, Tonawanda, which is about 3 miles north of Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like Buffalo. I'm not in Hamburg or Orchard Park where they play. But my uncle lived in Dearborn. Dearborn, Michigan, which is about the same distance. Dearborn's about the same distance from Ford Field.
I know, right, Cliff?
But my uncle was always a fan, and I would go up there in the summers and fish and do all that thing. And he would talk to me, and we would like go to the Detroit Tigers games and whatnot.
So you got indoctrinated with the Detroit stuff. I got you. So okay, what do you feel about this Lions team against this Dolphins team, prospectively through the Lions / Bills?
Honestly, if Aiden Hutchinson has a good game, the Dolphins don't have a chance. If they can isolate Hutchinson so he can't get to Tuna, I think the Dolphins will win.
I like that. Michael
Hutchinson has a relentless mortar. That guy doesn't stop, and he's gonna be lined up across the guy we just picked up off the streets called Shell. That this coaching staff is in love with.
So Aqua, Let's hear from you, bud. What do you feel about this game coming up? As far as what do you feel about the team up to this point?
I like it. I like it up to this point. I see one good move that we can make is because I'm here in Northeast Jersey, right?
Okay.
The Giants just lost their tight end, Bellinger, right? Like an eye fracture or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So send Gesicki to the Giants for some draft picks. Now is the time to do it if we're gonna do it.
I like that, Aqua, and that ain't
it
no
makes
lie
sense,
either.
You know? It makes sense for the Giants. It makes sense for us.
Makes sense for friggin' Gesicki as well, who just had his house built in Jersey.
Right, and he's from Jersey. Yeah, exactly.
Man, Aqua putting together the strings. I like that. That's actually, if they were going to trade him, that's the team that would give up the most for him.
Yeah, and you know they just got picks for Tony. You know.
Yes.
So they could turn around and
sound
send
like
us
something
send
that
us
will
some
probably
picks.
happen.
Yeah, right, Pete. This is
It does
I like
sound
you're
like
over the
something
mark.
that will probably happen before Monday. It wouldn't shock me.
We're all
That's
gonna
how good
know
that trade
Aqua
sounds.
was up. Yeah, it sounds it's a perfect marriage. We're all gonna be up here singing. Aqua came up here with the friggin' sauces right away and just dropped the friggin' nugget. And if it happens, we'll know where it came from.
Yeah. I listen a lot. I listen to a lot of sports radio out here, so you know that comes up a lot.
So they've been looking for Gesicki for a while then.
They've been mentioning him. The Jets been mentioning him. The Giants been mentioning him. Not really the Eagles. Not really them, because you know they got Goddard, whatever his name is.
Goddard, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
I'm with Aqua to a certain extent. I'm not trading Gesicki at all, fellas. I'm sorry to
Right.
tell
Who said that? Who just said that?
I'm saying that. But what I am willing to do, like Aqua said, is I'm willing to get rid of pieces on our defensive side of the ball so we can accumulate some draft picks.
Who are you talking about, Christian Wilkins?
Everybody is available on our defense, in my opinion, except Jalen Phillips and Zach Zeiler. Everybody else
and
is
Javon
dispensable.
Holland. And Javon
If they want to
Holland.
give me a first round for Javon Holland because they feel that's the guy they're missing, I'll take a first rounder for Javon. But I'm not lowballing it. I'm not getting a second for Javon.
Do you think that the news of Xavien Howard makes him that much more of a trade target right now?
I think with the news that just came out that this guy is out here passing out STDs like it's gift cards, I think this guy has ruined. I think he's ruined his trade value. His stock is really low, and his career is in real jeopardy right now.
So okay, what about the fact that maybe the Xavien Howard camp heard about him potentially on the trade market, and that Byron Jones will come back, and that he and his team kind of released this little whole thing to prevent the trade from happening.
Well, let's not forget they were both in beef. They were both in a battle. I want more money than this guy. And then they had to come out, oh, well, you know, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying, you know. Then Xavier had to fix all of that, knowing that you meant that. You meant what you meant. You were upset. We got Byron Jones, and we paid him more than you. You held out. We know why. And you said it out of your own mouth because y'all decided to pay Byron more than you. So now you forced the team to pat it down to you and restructure and pay you more and make you happy. Now what? Now what? Do you think these guys ain't beefing? So Byron Jones is laying back. It's not wrong by Byron Jones doing that. You want to be dogging me like that? Let's see you get interceptions without me on the field, because I'm the guy locking everybody
what do you
down.
think? What do you think about that, Paul? What Pete's saying?
Pete's talking nonsense like usual, but I do agree with him about not trading Gesicki. I wouldn't trade Gesicki either. But,
How about you, Mike? After Paul.
Me, Mike?
Yeah, you're the only Mike up here.
Let's face it. The NFL isn't like baseball, basketball, or hockey. There's not many trades that happen before the deadline.
There's been quite a few already, though. Christian McCaffrey, Robert Quinn.
Who's the cat that they just sent from the Giants to Kansas City?
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. What has he done? That was for draft picks. So the Giants did nothing, and Kansas City got some guy that's been in the league for 4 years and played like 6 games.
Maybe it's just a scheme thing.
Could be. Dable, you know what? People in Buffalo couldn't stand Dable.
I don't know why. I thought he was a good coach. I was looking at him for serious considerations for our head coach, and he edged out McDaniel for me by a slim margin as far as what I thought he could hope to do with a quarterback that needs help. Look no further than the success he has now. Maybe not so much the offense he would have brought here. I thought McDaniel's offense was going to be better suited for Dolphins-type football. But as far as helping out the quarterback, I thought he would do a hell of a lot of good work with Tua as far as figuring out what the hell's going on.
But, and it's like McDunce, he calls a running play on 3rd and 4th down or 2nd and 3rd down, whatever it was.
That calls a run play on every first down.
Dable was brutal, man. Dable, he put Allen in these run plays. Now, Dorsey will run Allen, but he doesn't run him as much as he used to. So you're not going to see the numbers that he had. But Dable would run Allen as a design play and just beat the poor kid up. He's tough. Dable's team and the New York Giants, and if you listen to Colin Cowherd or whatever his name is, he has like the buy, sell, or something, whatever. And he has the Giants he hasn't made a decision on the Giants yet. Because Dable's not calling the plays, but his offensive coordinator. The only thing that's saving the Giants right now is Wink Martindale in the defense.
I don't know, those players seem to really believe in Dayball, and I don't know, maybe he's not calling the plays, but he's putting together the team, and for whatever reason, he's got that team firing on all cylinders for the most part. Yeah, they almost lost one to the Jags, but they were able to grind out a win in a way that more often than not, the Giants usually lose that game against Jacksonville last year.
Did you have your Pete? The Bills lost that game to Jacksonville last year too.
What happened?
They couldn't do nothing.
Pete, did you have your gas station source? Did you have him stationed at the airport in Tampa Bay tonight to make sure Lamar got on the plane and went back to Baltimore?
Nah, man. I already told y'all what my gas source. I already told y'all what my gas source. Source told y'all. I said it on Steven's show one of my last times up there. I said the Dolphins are not making any trades before the deadline. They're not gonna make nothing major. Nothing. Phone calls from the Miami Dolphins department have not been going out as of 2 weeks ago, when teams are usually calling trying to figure things out. They don't just call one day and say, okay, we're going to trade. It's weeks in advance that they're calling these agencies, working things out. And the Dolphins phone lines are pretty much disconnected, fellas. I told you this a long time ago. We're not making a single move this season. Greer is handcuffed.
What do you think about all this?
Kind of news they'd rather drop on a Friday night that they just acquired Lamar Jackson. So all the two-and-ears are out at the clubs and they don't know about it till Saturday.
No, that ain't. You guys
did you see what Lamar Jackson did leaving the stadium after that win?
What'd he do?
Somebody threw a sign. He was walking into the locker room. He threw a sign, something "Pay me, Lamar." He walks right back out of the locker, like the little thing. He looks for a Sharpie and a pen. He autographs it and gives it to the fan that threw him the sign that says, "Pay Lamar Jackson."
Oh, yeah.
Lamar's getting a contract from Baltimore.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's not what I heard early and often in the offseason. And honestly, it's, to me, I don't know if it's past the point of no return, but they're going to have to pay extra to keep him there at this point. Because between him, organizationally, and everything else, it was ugly as hell. And I heard that well before... what's his name that just put it out on what's his name? Skip Bayless put out on his show where he's got a source in there, which he read the whole thing. But I'm telling you, I told you guys, you can go back to early in the offseason when I was like Lamar to Miami. I had a whole episode about it. I had talked to somebody that I won't talk about who and how I know them, but that there was consideration for the Dolphins in acquiring him, but only it was such a big deal because it was all but a certainty that Lamar wasn't going to play. Now, I don't know. I don't know if he'll end up a Dolphin, but I doubt
Lamar
he's going to be.
Jackson knows
He's going to be a
Stephen
Raven.
Ross always wanted him.
Stephen Ross did always want him.
Stephen Ross wanted Lamar Jackson.
What other teams could Lamar go on?
women, more table.
What other teams would Lamar like besides the Dolphins?
Well, Paul, that's kind of the thing is that Lamar, from what I was told, wanted to be here or at least in Florida. So that was the crazy thing.
You know, now
don't be surprised if Tampa pays him.
So he can be on the Buccaneers?
Tom Brady.
Color's completely right. He's got
Buccaneers.
now.
What do you think, Aqua?
Yeah, they make sense. Tampa makes sense. Vikings make sense.
But not Stephen Ross. When Stephen Ross was pushing the pedal to draft that guy when he was supposed to come here, and the GM didn't want to do it. They decided to go with Minka.
Pete, I'm gonna throw you a bone. If we're out on Tua,
Just don't throw me a
then
Tua
I will
bone because
be
it
all
leaves
in
too
on
much
Lamar
meat on it.
Jackson.
Say that again?
No, I'm gonna throw you a bone because Tua throws 60-yard bombs, so we're gonna need to replicate that.
Tua can't throw a 60-yard bomb.
Oh, yeah, you don't want Lamar. No. Hey, I get it. Tua Nears don't want Lamar. Remember, Tua beat Lamar. He beat him. He beat him in his own stadium. Lamar sucks.
Lamar saw firsthand about Tua's 60-yard bombs left and right. He was like, "Oh, I'm
He
on
saw
the
that
field
left
again."
hand.
Damn.
He's like,
Three
there's
and
no
out
way, bro.
again,
You sent me to
damn.
Miami. He said, trade me to Miami. He's not going to win the starting job. He's going to be on the bench, right? Tua's going to still be starting over Lamar,
No,
right,
no,
Paul?
no. Straight, no, for real. If the front office is like we're moving on from Tua, then I'll be 1,000% on board with Lamar Jackson.
Can they
This
free
is
up
what you
enough
guys
money?
don't understand. Lamar Jackson, there's a high chance that guy's a Dolphin next year. Very high chance. And what I don't want to happen, listen to me. And what I don't want to happen is us not give Skylar Thompson enough games. Because we're dedicating this season to Tua. Okay?
What are you talking about, Skylar
So let me tell you
Thompson? What are
something.
you talking about?
Let me tell you something. Michael, you're a Lions fan, right?
Yeah,
you guys
I
don't
follow
have
him.
a defense at all. That defense sucks. If Tua does not score at least 2 touchdowns out of 5 or 6 drives before halftime, this guy needs to be benched.
I think the number was 31 points a game that the Lions defense is giving up.
And all I'm asking for is 2 touchdowns before halftime, Color. How many possessions do you think Miami should have before halftime?
3, maybe 4.
At least 1 touchdown a quarter.
That's
not
not a
with
fair
this
question,
offense.
Pete.
We
That's
have
not
a top
fair-
5
that's not
quarterback. We have the best wide receivers in the league, Michael. Okay?
Tua
top
is
5
fourth.
quarterback and the best wide receivers tandem in the entire league.
Okay, wait, no.
Pete,
And you know
Tua
what?
is fourth.
I am not.
Hold on, Mike.
I'm
Hold on,
not
Mike.
arguing.
Hold on, Mike. Tua is fourth in touchdown percentage at 6%. That means for every 100 throws, he throws a touchdown. He throws 6 touchdowns every 100 throws. That's fourth in the league.
Those numbers are miscued, Color.
No, they're
It's
facts.
a percentage. Pete. That's why I brought up the percentage. The sample size is large enough. That's why I brought up the percentage. I'm not talking about
It's a fact, Pete.
how many touchdowns.
Okay,
It's
so he's
touchdowns per
so
drop
there's
back.
so
It's 6
so
per
ba-
100.
so Color
That's fourth in the league.
So based on those stats alone, then there's no reason for us not to have 3 touchdowns.
I
in the
agree,
first
but
half.
remember that you're talking based on how many dropbacks. I mean, look, we only had 19 minutes of possession against Buffalo.
A lot of that was due in part not because of our defense and not because Josh Allen is crazy. It was because Tua can't sustain drives.
I don't know.
and eat
We
clock on
scored
his own.
But Pete, we scored 21 points in those 9 minutes.
We scored 14. We scored 14 on 2 drives.
But where do you think the time came from that Buffalo used to put up 400 and something total yards on us?
They kept moving and getting first down.
Right, but that
they
takes
sustained
time.
drives.
But that
and
takes
we couldn't.
time.
And we didn't sustain drives.
Yeah, we did.
Pete,
We
do
scored.
you know how you get?
Well,
we only had 19
score.
minutes of possession. To get 21 points in 19 minutes of possession is actually pretty damn efficient.
Color, let me ask you this. If you guys didn't score off that strip sack, which was a hell of a play by the Dolphins defense, you guys win that game or no?
No, because we could not move the ball. That's what I'm trying to explain to Color.
Well,
we
there's
could
a
not
couple
sustain
things.
drives.
Look, there's a couple things. If it's not 98 degrees and Josh Allen's offensive linemen are dropping like flies, they probably get more than a field goal on that last drive that they scored. And I don't think Josh Allen throws a dud into the ground because they were driving on that last drive. And, from having played in Florida, you get your brain and body gets to this point where you end up overexerting like one last drive. And I think that's what happened to Josh Allen on that last play. It was like, or that one dud throw. It's like he was in the moment and his body just failed him. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. But the Dolphins could not move the ball against the secondary or the practice squad defense because we had lost Hyde. We lost Hyde and
that's a fair statement. But
yeah, but it was our defense that held
them. We're going
and
into a team now that gives up 31 points a game. So
are you saying that Josh Allen throttled himself?
Josh Allen, yeah. You know what? Yeah, Josh Allen wasn't smart enough to save himself.
If I'm not mistaken,
Bro, let's not forget this Buffalo game. They have one timeout at their disposal. We lose.
That's
There's a lot of ifs going on. There's a lot.
I shouldn't say that's true, but that is actually a very valid point.
Absolutely.
Okay. So blame the NFL for not having 4 timeouts. That makes that's irrelevant information. If Tua never gets hit in the head, we win by 20. If there's a lot of ifs going on.
Of course, it's counterfactual, obviously.
Well, you know what the Dolphins actually withstood the whole game by just making Allen fucking pressure the ball. He had to pressure the ball.
And to be fair, also, we're used to losing those games, not winning them. So even if it was because of this or that or the other, you know what I mean? At least we were finding a way to win and not lose.
Absolutely, and I give the Dolphins all the credit in the world for winning that game because they didn't fucking drop off as much as the Bills did. But
Michael K, the drop off was the weeks after the Bills. Every time the Bills play us, we feel it the next few weeks. Like that's where the drop off came was a couple weeks after.
True. But ironically, I thought their defense would be the one to collapse first, and it ended up being their offensive line.
Because they played. They weren't on the field long enough to collapse.
Yeah, that's it. And there you go. The time of possession difference for their offensive line. Yeah, that killed them.
And then you got to blame Dorsey, and that's where Dable would have been different than Dorsey.
We basically yet let the little scrappy guy swing himself out. Basically,
is Kahu coming back this week?
No, I think he's out. Sure. I think he's out for the week.
Because I would love to see the zero blitz against Jared Goff. Since last time we did it to him, he had 5 turnovers.
This whole game, the Dolphins game against the Lions,
Jared Goff's revenge game, buddy.
Hey, we can't zero blitz without Brandon. I don't think we could do it without Brandon Jones.
I mean,
there is something to be said that maybe the Rams' offense overall was better than the Detroit's offense is now. That could be.
Oh, that's a fact. They were putting up 50 points back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Besides the fact that, remember, the defense we have is the one that was designed to beat Jared Goff or did beat Jared Goff in the Super Bowl.
Their offensive line outmatches our defensive line, fellas. Let's just be realistic here. That offensive line in Detroit, it's just something. If we had that offensive line, I wish we could just swap Lions offensive line with the Dolphins right now.
They are doing good. They're good in the pass.
Okay,
they're good in the rush. They're fourth in total offense. But I got to be honest, their defense is just gonna fail them. They're dead last in like every category.
The defense that's gonna fail here is gonna be our defense.
No, it is not.
We're not a good dome defense. We're not a dome defense. We're missing pieces on defense.
Pete, there's starting to be a major correlation, dude.
Everybody.
Hey, there's starting to be a major correlation, bro. If you look at Detroit's wins, okay, and losses, or I should say, because I know they don't have a lot of wins, but most of their games were high scoring and close losses, right?
A lot of fourth quarter junk time.
And look at those opponents. The opponents that they got handily beat by Dallas, 26.
That was last week,
29-6 or whatever it was, and the Patriots shutting them out. Okay, the Patriots at least.
That was the last 2 weeks.
Right, but remember, there are those of us that think the Patriots defense was better than people think it is, and that's why we only scored 20 points on them. Okay.
But to be fair to the Lions,
so what it looks like is when the Lions play a decent defense, they get torn apart.
No, Color, the last 2 weeks, they haven't had DeAndre
but our defense is not
or
decent.
Amon St. Brown. So
what is our defense rated, Color?
Okay, well, our defense in against the rush is 7th. So, getting Swift back in the run game, we should be able to neutralize. We have been good against the run.
Right, and what it tells me, Pete, is it doesn't matter where we're ranked. What it tells me is that our defense will be able to do their average, which is holding them to 20 points.
We're ranked 21st right now, guys.
Well, we're ranked exactly. And
right,
our rush defense is but wait, Color.
Me,
I heard you. But wait, Capitan, you said our rush defense is 7th, right? What is their rush offense?
Their rush offense is 7th.
They're almost elite because they don't have a mobile running quarterback. That means there's mobile running quarterbacks that have better than them. Take those away. They're better than those teams. This is a real deal.
Playing against good defenses tells me that we can make our average, which is 21 points, holding our opponents to. And if we do that, their defense gives up 31. We should literally be able to predict this game to be 31-24.
Color, we're not even gonna have that many possessions to score to 31. The Lions are going to be able to manipulate and do whatever they want to our defense. This is what I'm telling you. They're going to focus it off the run.
Listen, the last time this defensive scheme found himself against Goff, they scored 2 touchdowns off of him.
Well,
they didn't have this offensive line.
Bro, Goff drops back really slow, bro.
We got a blitz.
Goff has been passing the ball almost 50-40 times a game. He's getting them to score touchdowns.
Pete, a lot of those inflated. It's not just that, Color. It's not just that, Color.
Scored a lot of points.
Who did the Lions play week 1? Name me the
play zone mean menace. They play a lot of zone mean menace. I'm telling you, they do play some press man every now and again, but they play a lot of zone. Listen, the thing with the Lions, as far as points go,
this is my
if
issue.
you look,
at minimum,
Pete,
I have the Lions scoring 20 points.
Pete,
minimum
if you look in the
Can we get
games,
there?
in the games the Lions have played, they are so down by the first half that come the third quarter. By the end of the third quarter, teams are just playing, keep away and soft zone, and that's when they start coming back into games. But they've really just put up a lot of junk time yards and points up on teams. It's no joke.
I see a scenario
even going back to the preseason, the one team that they only scored 9 points against was the Steelers defense, the one we just struggled with.
No, I'm saying like regular season, week 1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay,
and
but
5.
it was week 3 of preseason, so their defense, I don't know, whatever. It's scheme wise, we'll call it. All I'm saying is there's a pattern going on here. Now, granted, first game of the season, you could chalk it up to everybody's, Rusty, but they did put 35 points on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Thank you.
Week 2, they put 36 on the Washington Commanders.
Great defense there too.
Week 3, they put 24 on the Vikings.
We could not replicate that. Go ahead.
Seattle, they put 45 on the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, but they're not playing the Vikings defense, bro, and they're not playing our offense.
But we have better receivers and a better offense than them, and we can't even put up those tile points.
Okay, right. So
there's
whatever
definitely a scenario
injuries
where
they're
the
dealing
Lions
with
could
right
run up and
now.
down the
Okay,
field
hold on.
against us.
Whatever injuries they're
And
dealing
a lot of
with
that was
right now.
missing Swift.
Look, Pete. Here's the thing. Now let me do their defensive side of the ball. Philadelphia put 38 points on their defense. Washington put 27. Minnesota put 28. Seattle put 48. New England put
Seattle
29.
scoring on everybody.
New England put 29 on their defense, and Dallas put 24 and held them to 6 points. New England held them to 0.
And that wasn't what was that? Was that the Dak Prescott comeback game?
They score more than us every week, except for the game they scored 0.
Yeah, that was the rusty Dak Prescott game.
And they had a harder defensive schedule.
There is definitely a scenario where Tua's gonna have to put up 30 points to win the game because
We couldn't, Color. We couldn't even do that, Color. We couldn't even put up that many points with a banged up, missing 10 players Buffalo defense.
This is the part where we get the semantics, because what I'm trying to say is the expectation is that we should be able to put up as many points as their defense average is giving up, and that's 31.
I get it.
And we should be able to hold them.
But
we
our
should be able to.
expectations
We
all
should be
year.
able to. Hold on, let me finish. We should be able to hold them to our average, which is 21 points a game. You see what I'm saying?
I know.
That's the
I know what you're
expectation. Is that your prediction? Probably not.
No,
Would
because
I
my
predict
expectations.
that? Not at this point, but that is my expectation.
So who do you have winning, Color?
Hey, it's a good thing Pete's picking the Lions.
I am rolling with the Lions. I already predicted it. I think we're gonna lose 20 to 10.
It's good for us.
20 to 10. I think we're losing 20 to 10.
20
this
to
offense
10.
is underwhelming each and every single last week.
I'll tell
And
you
the
what,
guy that
Pete,
we were
if
gonna
we do
depend on
lose-
this week, Mostert, guess what? His knee is banged up. He's on the
You
injury
got Cap
report.
back on the screen talking about 10.
I'm telling you right now, we get only 10 points out of this offense, it is going to be a free for all out here. It is not gonna. It's gonna be ugly. It's not gonna be fun. And if we lose 20 to 10, people are gonna. Mike McDaniel will officially. He'll be sitting on a fire seat, because I'm telling you, people are gonna freak the hell out, and watch how the fan base
Now,
turns
Cap,
on
if we score
McDaniel.
10 and
What do you think the Lions are gonna do?
if we score 10 and win, it's
Cap-
okay.
Fellas, let me ask
I
y'all.
don't know.
You think the Lions are looking at? You guys don't think the Lions were watching that Sunday night game?
Maybe they were, but Pete, do you understand? what
Maybe
Captain
they were.
said? None of that works if we
10
don't set
points
this
against the
expectation.
Lions.
You don't think the Lions are gonna replicate what the Steelers did? And you think the Lions are gonna drop that many
Maybe they will,
interceptions?
but, maybe they will, Pete. But why are you? You don't have to be chicken little about it. Listen to what Capitan is saying.
Are they gonna line up Hutchinson against Armstead?
That Hutchins goes right and left, so he'll get his opportunities against Brandon Shell as well. So Brandon Shell did pretty decent.
That's the whole thing.
Look,
But if
guys,
Armstead,
listen, the Dolphins are favored by 3.5, and the over/under is 51.5.
They
This
expect
game
points
is
to
going to
be
be
scored.
31-24, whether it's us or them.
I
I gotta be
31,
honest with you,
27.
Color. I gotta be honest. It might get even uglier than what I said. because I have them scoring minimum 20. If they go off, and bro, you guys don't think this thing can blow up in Detroit.
Pete,
If they catch some of those,
that means
I don't
Tua
think.
has 3
Listen to me, Cutter, because I saw you unmute yourself real quick. Those high turnover worthy plays in that dome, the Lions are gonna catch them. I'm sorry to tell you. And every time they're running down our throats, they're going to score touchdowns. I don't think Tua's keeping up with the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions might put up 42 points, and we score 10, bro. This could be a 42-10 dismantle.
It's fair for you to have that opinion and not think he can keep up. But do you understand that the expectation needs to be set that he can?
Oh, he definitely will. You don't get a 19-10 record for nothing.
How else is anybody gonna put McDaniel or Tua on the hot seat if there's no expectation that he does that?
If it's 17 to say 10 and the defense scored the touchdown, the winning touchdown, this is going to be ugly for the Dolphins. If it's reversed as Pete says, if it's reversed as Pete says in his hyperbolic point that the Dolphins lose 31-21 or something, it is going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I don't foresee it happening.
Oh my God.
I don't foresee it happening, Pete. I don't foresee it happening, but I don't foresee it. I don't foresee a future that it doesn't happen either.
The Lions are putting up 30. Let's be real here. Let's be real.
It's going to be a tough game.
It shouldn't be though. The Lions defense, the Lions as a team, this shouldn't be a tough game. We should whip their butt. But the problem is after what we've seen. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Paul. Yeah,
offense, we need to score a lot, but defense, this is a bad matchup for us on defense.
I don't see how we could see that when the last time we saw Goff, they destroyed him, and I know it was a different team, but it's not like
Xavien Howard
it's not like he's not the same quarterback. No, he's gonna play, Pete. But I know, right? I know. But listen, guys. Let's get some final thoughts. I'm gonna have a longer show tomorrow. We'll get all into it. Greg, I haven't heard a peep out of you, man. Why don't we get something out of you for some final thoughts real quick?
Yeah, I wanted to come up there and say Lamar Jackson. I think it's a strong candidate. He'll be a Dolphin if we don't make the playoffs, because I don't know if you guys were watching the game. Did you guys see Mr. Ross with his little binoculars in the booth? I think he was. Had those binoculars all over Tua the entire game, but that's just me speculating.
Probably that and the play calling. I hope he was looking. I thought he went to the guy next to him and goes, "Hey man, should I fire some of these people?" Looks like that's what he said that to me, bro. Straight up, bro. He's like, "Should I fire some?" Like asking random strangers in the booth with him, "Should I start firing people?" So, but listen, Greg, come back tomorrow, man. I'm gonna open it up probably earlier and just get all into it and go late and stuff like that.
You got it.
Later, bud. Michael, I'm glad you came up, man. You're gonna have to come up more and let us hear the rantings of a madman who chooses the freaking Buffalo Bills and the Lions of all teams to root for. Both these teams. I mean, get some final thoughts.
If Hutchinson can get past Armstead and exploit his foot injury, Dolphins have no fucking chance. Because Tuna will not have the opportunity to fucking sit back there for 3 or 4 seconds to throw.
He won't, bro. These Lions harassed Dak last week. I seen the game. They were all over Dak, bro.
The Dolphins, well, you know what? They didn't have much chance against the Bills, against their defensive core. So they didn't have to get exploited because they only had, 38 plays? The Dolphins, if they can exploit the offensive line of the Dolphins, Lions win by 17.
Wow.
By 17. What I told you. This is going to wake up this fan base. This is going to wake up this fan base, dog. Watch.
Before you go, Michael K., I'm sure I would be able to speak for Miss Finns here to thank you for always contributing over on her neck of the woods too, man. You make
Yeah,
it lively
appreciate
in the
you.
morning.
Yeah, appreciate you, Michael.
Hey, you know what? You guys ever come to Buffalo? You have a place to stay. I'll put you up. You'll be fine. I might even have
Oh,
a
word
hooker.
up, Michael. What? Fuck yeah, I'm on my way to Michael's house. Word up. All right, Michael, we'll see you.
Niagara Falls, man.
Come up again when it's freaking Bills versus Dolphins. We definitely need to get that going.
Dude, December 18th, we'll do the show right from my house.
There you go. There you go. Fucking get it on. All right, Michael, we'll see you up here next time.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
All right, man, later. Fucking Michael came around these
Yeah,
parts.
we gotta
Crazy.
find a way to make that happen. I'm gonna start talking to Mom. Get like a
Yeah,
plane
dude.
ticket.
Fucking A. Aqua, another freaking first time sliding through here, Aqua. You're going to have to come around more.
Yeah, I'll definitely. You guys know I'm always in the chat.
Yes.
The way I see it, we haven't won in Detroit since Nick Saban days and Fiedler. I think we win by like 10 this game. I think we win by like 10.
It's a solid take.
Yeah, I see that.
All right, Aqua, come on tomorrow, man. We're going to open up again.
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right, Aqua, see you, buddy.
All right.
See, Pete, that's a little bit more sound. Win by 10. Dolphins are, 20-something, say 27-17.
And well, to Pete, to be fair to Pete, I think what Pete is essentially saying is even if we win, like we're probably going to win by just enough
that we're gonna still
that
get the same old
still
Pete.
continue about Tua. And
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
we're gonna have the same old Pete. Yeah, that's the thing. That's right.
Yeah,
Pete,
it's gonna be
Pete,
crazy.
I'm gonna give Paul some final thoughts real quick. But I got a question for you in a second. Go ahead, Paul.
All right. Well, y'all keep doing what y'all doing, coloring on Capitan, and if we had more Pete's in our fan base, it would be a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think so
More
too, Paul.
Pete's in our fan base.
Yeah,
I like
man.
you, Pete. You're a cool guy.
And it ain't Stephen
But-
D's
You
channel,
guys
bro.
hate me.
I like Pete around
But
here.
going back to, I think we're gonna win 31-27 now because I think we're gonna go up there on a professional trip. Now, if we go over there eating crap, we can definitely lose this game. This is not a game to look past. And
I can
Tua
see
has-
that in an underwhelming performance by our defense, giving up like 27. That's kind of fair, yeah.
Dolphins
I
never
see.
play in Detroit. They're over there looking at the Ford Museum, wasting a bunch of time.
Hello, Pete's like our ombudsman, bro. He's like, here's the real story of what that guy just said. You know what I mean?
They're going
Ross
around
is
checking
in
out the
Detroit,
Ford.
telling them this is where I'm from. Detroit.
Yeah, sitting here
Michigan.
checking out the
By the way,
Ford
guys,
factory,
dude,
drinking
not a green one.
drinking the freaking Flint, Michigan water, just taking no care of themselves,
Yep.
walking
Tua
around
testing the
giving
waters.
everybody in all of the state of Michigan herpes.
Literally.
This is
Tua's
bullshit.
testing the waters.
But I think Tua will get like 350, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, just so Pete could talk more crap about him.
Right.
And
Nice.
we're gonna get the W 31-27.
See, I actually
Beautiful.
still think that's a great Tua performance if we're winning 31-27. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
All right,
something I
Paul.
wanna
We'll see you
like,
tomorrow, buddy.
Yep,
All right,
take it
good
easy,
night.
Paul.
Later.
If we see
All right.
that every week consistently, that's when you can say, okay, yeah, we can be confident that when Tua is on the field, we're going to get this type of performance given the weapons we all got. That's all we want to see.
If Tua beats the Lions 31-27, that's not exciting with those stats he just said. Let's be honest here.
No, but remember, Pete, you sit down on Sunday and watch all these games, and after listening to all the talk about every game all week, because you do fantasy, so I know you look at all games from a league-wide perspective quite a bit. And so,
Oh, Color, you saw I got third place in a tournament today?
Listen, you end up sitting
I
down.
got third place in a tournament today on FanDuel and won $300, Color.
Nice. But
ahead,
you
go
know,
ahead, go
you
ahead.
sit down and watch.
I just remembered.
You fire up all the games, and you're just like, all that talk all week about what everybody's gonna do and all these games and this and that. And you see it like half the time it's 10-7 in every game at halftime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I don't know. I think that you have something to be said for, you know, the expectation and then what the reality is probably going to be. The reality is we are a very low scoring offense per game.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be, right? Based on our stats alone.
We shouldn't be, but that's precisely why the expectation could be that, hey, the Lions give up 31. So let's start crossing the end zone on the Lions.
This is exactly
fine time
what I'm
now
saying.
to do it as any. You know what I mean?
They're also surrendering like 400 plus yards a game too. So we should really hand it to them in a lot of ways.
Who was that? Aquavision that said that?
No, me. That's what they are. The
I'm
Lions
talking
give
about
up
the 31-27 prediction. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
no. Aqua said we're gonna beat them by 10. I thought Paul said that.
31-27.
Yeah, Paul said that.
He gave the 3 touchdowns and 2 interception prediction. And he wants to end it. Oh, just so Pete can still talk crap about Tua. Exactly. Because those 2 interceptions is what kept the Lions there at 27. We don't throw those two interceptions, then we probably get a convincing win where Tua doesn't have to come back late and make things like this. You know what we should treat the Lions? I gotta be honest here. The way Buffalo Bills treated us, we need to control the game. We need to have those 38 or 48 minutes, whatever they had, offense. Control it from the beginning to the end. Choke them out because they don't have it.
Pete, remember that division teams usually construct their teams to beat each other, and as such, they usually have very similar defenses. I would predict that this game would go more like the Vikings game but the Buffalo game.
Peller, statistics say they're not going to be able to stop our run. Statistics say they're not going to be able to stop our pass. Statistics say if what we have going on offensively is working and we're driving downfield, we're going to be chewing the clock. We go down on the first 3 drives of the game. We score touchdowns. You can book that we took off at least 7 minutes off the clock on each drive. Let's handle business and knock off 21 minutes off the clock minimum on our first 3 possessions and and give them 9 minutes of possession in the first half.
Pete, remember last week what I preached about the points per game per quarter? We were at 2.6 in the first quarter. We scored 13 points last week in the first quarter. And I thought to myself, holy dang, we get one more touchdown.
Holy dang.
And that's 34 points. And then we scored one more field goal and did absolutely nothing the rest of the game.
So I got a question for you, Pete. We play the Lions, then the Bears, oh my. Then we play the Texans, right? Is that who we have? Or is it the Browns then the Texans?
I think it's I'll pull it up.
I think it's the Texans then the Browns. So okay, those 4 opponents. Browns, Texans, Bears, and Lions. If over those 4 opponents, they're all 4 victories, and Tua and Mike McDaniel and this offense outscores those opponents by 13 or more points, will you then change your narrative as far as how you feel?
49ers, sorry.
Okay, so it's Browns, Texans, not Texans, Browns.
Right.
So those 4 opponents, games we should win against opponents, but they score 13 or more points in all 4 games, outscoring their opponents. Will that change your feeling as far as Tua, this offense, and Mike McDaniel? Because it's not a game, it's 4 games. We're talking about 13 or more in all of them. Or on the average, we'll even say. So say if they only win by 10, but they blow somebody out by 25. You know what I'm saying? If they find the average in these 4 games, will that help change your perspective?
I'll start questioning things, but it's not like these teams that we're facing are some of the defenses that we should be worried about. None of these teams you name right now are none of them playoff material.
You know what?
The
That's
Lions,
fair.
Nothing. The Bears just got rid of their defense. I mean the Texans, they're a rebuilding squad. Like now we're gonna do this, Capitan, with these 4 teams. No,
I was just saying.
Not where it's at.
You're right. You're right. But that's why I put it at not wins.
I
put it at, okay, we'll do 14 points. So it's a full 2 touchdowns more over these 4 games. Because that to me is showing at least you're taking care of business in a high-powered offense. And what I mean by it's not, oh, this is the book, you're a Tua believer now. But that you will then, not objectively, because I feel like you try to be objective more often than people think you do. But like, okay, from that point, when we're going against the Niners, if we drop one to the Niners just per se, it won't be the end-all, be-all, unless it's an absolute freaking shitstorm and we just get blown out. But like, you'll look at the rest.
By Robert Saleh and the Jets. You think we got a shot versus Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers?
Well, we'll see. But come to that 49ers game with 4 victories of 2 touchdowns or more. From the 49ers game throughout the rest of the season, you can would it change your perspective enough to look at those games individually and say, hey, we can beat this opponent by...
I'm not even these. No, you know what, Capitan?
I'm just asking.
I don't care what happens the next 4 games. That's my answer. What are the next 4 games after these 4 games? How about that? Keller, can you give them to me, please? And I know you guys want to end the show.
It's the Chargers, it's the Niners, it's the Packers, and then I want to say it's the Bills or something
We go Browns, Texans, Niners, Chargers, Bills, Packers, Patriots.
It's Niners, Chargers, Bills, Packers, just like I thought. So those 4 games and the Patriots, those last 5 games are pretty tough. I'm just saying, when we roll into those final 5 games, 2 of them against, division opponents and stuff like that, we roll into that next gauntlet, we'll call it, winning and winning by margins aren't so important against those harder opponents is what I'm saying. And if we're still winning, even if we drop one or something like that, as long as it's not a shitstorm, just saying that could really start to maybe go, hey, maybe Tua's finally figured it out. Hey, maybe Mike McDaniel figured it out. Hey, maybe this team is figuring it out. I'm just wondering if there's a way for that page to turn.
Yeah, I mean, even these next 4 games, I want to blank them out because I don't like the opponents we're facing, right? But that's just me. I need to see it convincingly. But if he does do what you're saying, even if it's against these 4 teams, then I'm just going to find a way to find something, right? But he's doing what needs to be done, and he's winning regardless.
Yeah, it's not free of criticism, Pete. We'll always be critical, even in wins.
But the thing of it is, though,
but you already know, if he does what you just said, he deserves credit. You're right. But you already know where I want to give him credit versus the other later games. I'm not going to respect these, but he still deserves respect.
It's pure probabilities. If a guy is doing that, it's likely he's producing a lot anyway.
That's what I'm hoping for.
And if he's doing that against these teams that I so-called claim they're garbage, right? And I want to see it done versus better.
You can't just go on winning with 16 points forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. If they're winning 14-plus points a game over these next 4 games, then when we're
talking about
rolling,
what, 28-14 every game?
We're talking about 14 or more points scored, beating them by 14 or more, not that score.
What I'm also saying is, if we're 4-0 after this next stretch, then it's likely that our quarterback is producing. You see what I'm saying? It's like there's no way you can win 4 in a row like that, even against terrible opponents.
No, you can win 4 in a row terribly. You can put together 4 performances that look like the Steelers game.
But it would be so obvious by then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't give him that example, because guess what? It looks like it did in the Steelers game over these next 4 games. Then, it's kind of like the same old Dolphins and playing down to the competition,
but you also
performing
don't have
down,
to do
all
that
that shit.
every
I ain't about that.
Exactly.
I ain't going to have that.
That's why those 14 points you're talking about, that's important. That's why
That's important. That's why I preferenced that. Yeah, by 14 or more.
That's why a guy like me will be looking at the points per game averages after those 4 wins. I'd be like, okay, bam, all of a sudden we're scoring 30 points a game and we're holding teams to 20.
Well, see,
and that's real. No matter how many of those games were close.
Well, if we put up 28 points, let's say 4 touchdowns, that's pretty much 30 points.
Right,
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
here's
saying
my
is-
point. That's why I put up 14 points, because
Right.
even one of those games can get ground out where we beat them 17-3. It's still 14
Right,
points.
and
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
If our
Yeah.
averages are such that we're putting up 28 points a game after that stretch, then you can say,
No.
well, even if a
I'm sorry,
couple of
Tyler.
those games, hold on, Pete, even if a couple of those games were close, there was enough of them that were blowouts that we raised our average up that high. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know if we're
Nah,
gonna
but
raise
I'm
our
not buying
average
that.
by a
I'm
whole
not
touchdown.
buying- yeah, but Color, I'm not buying that in these next 4 games.
That's right. I need to have
If it's
two
the
more.
following
fair
one,
enough.
maybe versus the Chargers or one of these playoff teams
That's
that
fair
we
enough.
beat 17-3, yeah. But if one of these games, the Texans or the Lions, if you think I'm gonna be excited, we beat the Lions 17-3,
bro.
No, I agree. I agree. But I mean, look, and I know what you're saying from that. I'm just using, that's why I've given a 4-game sample size for 14 or more. Because, okay, for whatever reason, the Texans show up and show out, and we freaking are injured and playing like shit. But we still beat them by 2 touchdowns, 17-3. I'll be pissed about what happened in some certain ways. I'll be happy with the win because we'll be on a winning streak at that point.
Yeah.
But that's why I gave it over a 4-game sample size.
But
And
let's
it's not
not forget-
anything definitive. It's not anything definitive because then we enter into the gauntlet. What my point is that once
that's where it's important.
That's right. It will where will you sit as far as how you will feel about us being competitive in that gauntlet? That's kind of where I am. Where you're not necessarily your tone or your criticisms of the team will change, but that you will be open to the idea of maybe this Dolphins team can't fuck us over. Not can't, or that maybe that this could be real or something
You know
could
what?
be happening.
I think we'll have a new starting quarterback in that gauntlet part.
That could happen too. I think
And that's
I
gonna
think if
take
we
us
make
over
it
the
to the
top.
gauntlet though, it's not going to be a quarterback taken out. It'll have to become from injury.
Right. So Pete, earlier a minute ago you mentioned Kyle Shanahan again, sort of in a good light, and I want to remind you that's 42 and 46, Kyle Shanahan. But also, I wanted to bring up this little tidbit earlier. Kyle Shanahan's winning percentage over 5.5 seasons is .490, right? I'm sorry, 0.477. Okay. There's
Almost
another
at
coach
500.
that has a 3-year sample size that's .490, and that is Brian Flores.
Wow, Color.
Brian Flores' winning percentage as a head coach over 3 years is higher than Kyle Shanahan's over 5.5.
And does Kyle Shanahan have quarterback restrictions where they tell him who's the start?
No, Kyle
quarterback?
Shanahan has no restrictions. He's almost
Okay.
God over. Well, he also has what's his
Down
name,
to the weight,
Lynch.
Color. Remember, Flores always felt he could win more games with different quarterbacks.
I just think it's so ironic how people are so easily dismissive of the Belichick disciples failing. Well, the Shanahan tree is .477. Flores
Well,
is
yeah, but
490.
the Shanahan tree seems all the more fruitful now that McVay just won the Super
Granted,
Bowl.
but
So
it's just funny that the main Shanahan son is like
know.
not all that really.
all right, Pete, we'll see you tomorrow, bud. I'm gonna
Heads
close
up,
her up.
everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you, Pete. Color. I'm gonna be on tomorrow again. I'm trying not to, I'll try to stay out as late as I can for everybody on a Friday night. So, you know what I'm saying? I will. I'll call you tomorrow, but everybody, make sure you hit the like button if you guys didn't already. I don't know why you wouldn't have. Subscribe, become a member. Shout out to the new member. Everybody, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Fins up.